Welcome back to the channel. This is Trendy Storm and you are watching third and final part of What If Naruto Was Trained by Spirits of Forgotten Past. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Not wasting no time. Let's start the story.
The Hokage dismissed everyone but Naruto after Team 7 and Hana Inuzuka had just finished their reports. Additionally, the Anbu was dispatched, paused for 10 minutes, and examined Naruto. Naruto checked the flow and nodded in agreement before revealing the real story. Okay, the room is secure. What actually took place? Sasuke and Sakura already know the consequences if this gets out. Promestine didn't fight, that was true. If she did, we wouldn't be here right now. It's what she said that troubles me. Yes, however, there is one group that I think would fit the bill for her employer, Sarutobi replied. You know? Inquired Naruto. Sarutobi gave a headshake. Not know. Think. Their name is Akatsuki. They're after something. What? I don't know yet. Their true purpose is unknown, same with members. Jiraiya is currently trying to figure it out, and will be here sometime in the next few months. The organization used to have a rogue Konoha shinobi, which is how we found out about them in the first place. If they are after the Jinchuriki, then. Sarutobi nodded in agreement as Naruto stated, then we're gonna have a major problem on our hands if Promestine is working with them. Now, what's this about two new jutsu finally being tested? Naruto produced a pair of scrolls. These are the details of the two jutsu. One of them is only for reference. The other is for you to decide its fate, though I'd prefer it if it were marked Kinjutsu, and sealed away. On the desk, he put them. The wings of the soul is what we use to bring out the wings alone. Theoretically, it'll bring wings out based on your mind and soul. Sakura has dragon wings. Sasuke and myself have angel wings. That jutsu will do the real thing, since ours is actually a result of our own blood, not the jutsu. The wings are permanent. After examining it, Sarutobi nodded. Do you think you can teach some of the other genin this jutsu? Possibly. I would prefer not to teach it to genin, though. Chunin, maybe. Genin, no, acknowledged Naruto. It's the other one that I worry about. Sarutobi read, the body. Soul charge. Naruto gave a nod. In the report, Sakura used it in a pinch, but wasn't careful of the possible effects. She went berserk. It really could happen, so that's why I would say not to let it out period. Mark it as Kinjutsu, and seal it off. That would be my suggestion. Sasuke, Sakura and myself have already used it. I'd much rather we be the only ones to reach that list. Especially because of what happened with Sakura. It would do the same thing Promestine did to us. Theoretically, of course. And how do you plan to test wings of the soul out? Actually, I was planning on having Hinata Hyuga learn that one. She'll need the confidence boost it'll give her. There's nothing quite like flying through the air leisurely. Naruto grinned. Then he went back to serious mode and lost it. It should work with her. If not, there's an aspect of the jutsu that we haven't found yet, that all three of us have. It's an unknown factor. If you use the wings of the soul before the body. Soul charge. The wings will most likely be incorporated into the form. Sarutobi gave a nod. I see. Body. Soul charge will be marked as an S-ranked Kinjutsu. Not a rank like you had it. After giving it some thought, Naruto nodded. And wings of the soul? Sarutobi handed that scroll back and said, that will be taught at the discretion of your team, as a B rank due to the permanent effects. He held onto the body. Soul charge and immediately set it on fire. The secrets of the body. Soul charge will be kept to those that know. Do not teach it to anyone else. Not even Junin, or under the penalty of death. This message is to reach Sasuke and Sakura as well. You will have to do 10 D ranks before taking any more missions C rank and above. I will let Kakashi know this, as well. You have 3 days off with no missions, as does your team. Use it wisely. After Naruto gave a nod, the privacy seals were turned off. The Anbu returned to the room as Naruto left, saying, thank you, Hokage. Sama. Kakashi was present, along with Sakura and Sasuke. So? Naruto said, I told him, and? Inquired Kakashi. He burned the scroll for the body. Soul charge. No one learns that. No exceptions. Wings of the soul is at our discretion to teach. Sakura and Sasuke both nodded. Kakashi gave Naruto a look. Any chance I can learn wings of the soul? For a brief moment, Naruto blinked. Then he laughed. Sasuke memorized it with the Sharingan. If either of them teach you, it's their call. Me? I'm gonna find Hinata, and teach it to her. She could use the confidence boost. At that, Sakura and Sasuke both nodded. Yeah, she really could. Developing a crush on the Hyuga? Naruto reddened slightly. No. Kakashi noted, that's not what your face says. It's not developing, it's been there for years already, said Naruto. That left Sakura and Sasuke speechless, and you didn't accept it? Tragically, Naruto acknowledged, couldn't without knowing my heritage, until it goes public, I still can't. Sakura, Sasuke, and Kakashi all blinked. After that, Naruto stepped outside, spread his wings, leapt out, and flew in the direction of TG8, where he knew Hinata was. With Hinata after completing a D-rank mission, Team 8 arrived at the training area. In front of their Junin teacher, Kurenai Yuhi, stood Kiba Inuzuka, Shino Aburame, and Hinata Hyuga. The sight of someone flying into the area caused her to pause, saying, "Alright guys, it's time for some." It turned out to be Naruto when he landed. At this, Hinata turned a deep red. He has angelic wings. Oh, Naruto-kun. Kurenai. Sensei, do you mind if I borrow Hinata for a second? He inquired. What do you need her for? Kurenai paused and considered, something a bit more on the personal side, that doubles as training. How long will it take? Naruto answered, 30 minutes, give or take. Max 45, though. Alright. I'll work with these two until then. Have her back by then, understand? With a nod, Naruto took Hinata's hand and they both disappeared. They were in a forest clearing when they resurfaced. Hinata gave him a look. How is he going to proceed? Hinata, I want to teach you a jutsu that, at the moment, only 2 others, aside from myself have used. Hinata gave a blink. With confusion, she said, teach me a jutsu? Naruto gave a nod. This jutsu is. Well, it hasn't gone public yet, because I just got the go to train someone else to use it. I want that person to be you. She questioned, who else knows? Sasuke and Sakura from our class. One of them is probably teaching our sensei. It's a single use, B rank. Once used, the effects are permanent, and you'll have to work on deactivating it on your own, sadly. Naruto stated to her, do you want to learn it? What about my clan? Naruto answered, your clan doesn't need to know, as long as you don't use it in front of them until it's released to the public. No clan needs to know. Being as it's not an elemental ninjutsu, or anything of the like, it's not something you'd have to use hand signs for each time. Then Hinata gave a nod. Yes, I want to learn it. After that, Naruto demonstrated the hand signs for her and described the precise amount of chakra required for the jutsu to function. Remember to concentrate it at your shoulder blades. She performed the jutsu after nodding. Before the wings solidified, she drew a painful gasp as she felt the tingle and then felt them form behind her. To Naruto's surprise, she also possessed angel wings. She kept panting after the pain went away until she heard Naruto clapping. Naruto then unfolded his own wings and displayed a pair of angel wings, saying, looks like you got it. Our wings are the same, apparently. She caught a glimpse of them behind her. Angel wings. What does it mean, though? Those wings show what your soul is like. If you are corrupt or evil, the wings will be radically different from what yours are now. If you have something in your blood, dormant or not, and that part of your blood has wings, your wings will take on the shape of that dormant part of your blood. Naruto clarified. Found this out from Sasuke and Sakura. Sakura has dragon blood, and now she has dragon wings. Sasuke has angel blood in him, so his wings are that of an angel. The same with me. He laughed. You know, it's funny. The villagers always called me a demon. These wings show that, not only am I not a demon, I have angel blood in me. This was only confirmed with this. I already know that you don't have angel blood, but this means that your soul is like that of an angel. He smiled at her and extended his hand. What do you say we break those things in, nay? He pulled her closer, and she blushed even more as she reluctantly took his hand. Then he leapt to his feet and began to glide while holding her hand. He held her hand even after they parted ways. He smiled as he said to her, spread your wings. Not wanting to look down, she did so. Then she sensed it. The calm of the sky, the wind in her hair. This continued for some time before she realized Naruto had released her hand. Before he flapped his own wings, she gave him a look. She attempted to flap his wings as he said, now, you're gliding. Do as I do. And feel the freedom of the sky. She managed, though it felt alien. She attempted to follow, but she felt uneasy because there was no ground beneath her feet. Don't think. Feel it. She gave up trying and followed her body's instructions. It was much easier after that. They were gliding and flying everywhere. After 30 minutes of this, Hinata was grinning. Naruto-kun. Thank you. As they touched the fourth Hokage's face, Naruto remarked, "You don't need to thank me, Hinata." He did the same, and so did she. "I did it because I wanted to. And, well, I really like you. I figured I should do something for you, so, when this came up, I decided to teach it to you when I got the chance. I took the first chance I got." Hinata's cheeks turned scarlet. "Don't faint on me, Hinata. Please, don't." "Why me?" she inquired. "Why not you?" inquired Naruto. "You've been like an angel to me for years. And now, because of the jutsu, you have the wings of an angel to go with the heart and lips of an angel that you already had. And I wanted to use this to ask you something." He let out a sigh. She stopped him before he could ask her. She kissed him on the lips. She asked one question as she withdrew. "Does that answer it?" Naruto merely grinned. "Yes, it does." He reached for another, which was given back. Even though it seemed like forever, they only separated for 30 seconds. Their gazes were fixed on one another. This made Kurenai, who was close by, smile. Naruto said, "As much as I'd hate to interrupt this beautiful moment," and Hinata quickly separated. Naruto held up his hand and said, "I think I should ask two things. Number 1. Where did Hinata get those wings?" "So, this means she accepted your training offer?" He grinned. "Okay. And the second. Are you done?" Hinata and Naruto avoided eye contact. She laughed. "Don't worry, I sent Kiba and Shino home already." "Sensei," moaned Hinata. "Please, don't do that." Naruto. "Those wings are the result of a jutsu, correct?" Naruto gave a wink. "And how does she stop it?" Naruto gave a headshake. "It's impossible. The jutsu is one use only. Once used, the effects are permanent. You can hide them, but you can't get rid of them, short of tearing them off, and that would probably hurt. Badly. And you were going to tell her this, when?" He glanced at her and said, "After she got the hang of flying, and told her what I wanted to. It would be better to do this out of sight from everyone else. Care for another flight?" She nodded after giving him a look. As though it came naturally to them, they both leapt and began flapping their wings. The sensation of using them was already second nature to her. That was ensured by Naruto. As they flew around, they noticed that TG-69 was deserted, with only a few training grounds occupied. She nodded as he indicated it. Naruto began instructing her on how to store them after they landed. He gave her instructions on how to bring them out after she succeeded in doing so. He went on to say that practice makes perfect when it comes to bringing them out and putting them up. She practiced, and when she was able to get it down to 5 seconds each time, he nodded. She succeeded, though it took a good hour. Naruto.kun. Thank you for giving me these wings. You don't need to thank me, Hinata-chan. I wanted to give you the opportunity to taste the skies yourself. Besides, there's something else. He verified the flow. There was still nobody around. Something else? Naruto gave a nod. Then he let go of his ears and tails, and then his wings again. Her eyes went glassy, and she began petting the tail. I kind of created another jutsu that gave me the tails and ears along with the fur. Then she heard him purr, so soft. Are you purring? He stammered, and no. She laughed. He thought, she's adorable when she giggles like that. The purring then persisted as she continued to stroke the tails. Ooh yeah, it feels so amazing. Then, through the flow, Naruto sensed someone approaching and jolted out of whatever trance he was in before retracting his fox features and wings. She sulked. Her eyes widened as she said, "Put your wings away. Someone's coming." She was able to do it before the person arrived. When the individual arrived, it was Neji, Hinata's cousin. He had previously been seen by Naruto during a spar with Tenten. So, it's the fate. Obsessed, sexist idiot. Dare I ask why you're here? Asked Naruto. Naruto could sense the venom in the honorific. I came for Hinata-sama. Naruto rubbed the back of his head and then turned to Hinata, saying, Geez. You don't have to bite my head off. Meet here after you're done with your team tomorrow. We'll work on that tomorrow. She gave a nod. He spoke so that only she could hear him as she went by. She couldn't resist smiling when he said, and maybe some more cuddling. She waved at him as she hurried away. She waved at him, sure thing, Naruto.kun, and he exhaled a sigh of relief as Neji went. Kurenai appeared on stage. I have to admit, you're a hard person to track. Naruto ignored her and said, you have to be when you're the 170% of the villagers want dead. You do realize that I let you see the fox features for a reason, right? I gathered that much, but how did you know I was watching? His eyes were serious as he turned to face her. Something I intend on teaching to Hinata. With it, I managed to match Kakashi with his Sharingan active, though I was mainly on the defensive. I was never hit, but neither was he. With it, it's easily possible to match someone of a higher skill level, but only if it's mastered. She can take it to a level one can't. I know she can. If you mastered it, then what makes you think she can do better than you can? Naruto began to leave. Because while I'm wind, the skill follows the lines of water, which is her element. Taking wind to level 4, but water is stuck at 3 for me. She may not be able to take wind as high as I can, but water is her forte. She can bring out the 4th level of water, whereas I can't. That's what I'm counting on. Kurenai chose to question Kakashi about Naruto after observing him. With Kakashi in front of the memorial stone stood Kakashi. Kurenai emerged through Shunshin, not far away. Kurenai. I want to talk to you about your student. He sighed and turned to face her, saying, straight to the point, I guess. Which one? Naruto. Oh. The Enigma. Enigma. Never mind that. I need to know what it is he plans to teach Hinata. I thought you would know what it is, she said. Kakashi hummed. Honestly, aside from the wings of the soul jutsu, which would give her wings that are based on her soul and personality, I don't know what else he would teach her. At least, not without some kind of information on what the skill is, like element. From what he said, his wind was level 4, but the water was only level 3. He plans for the water, but I don't understand the terminology. Apparently, when mastered, it could help you match someone on a level far above your own, seeing as he dodged every attack you sent at him with your Sharingan. Kakashi lost his temper. Kurenai took notice of this and said, that explains it. He's going to teach her the Serene Mind. Serene Mind. It's a state of mind that only he and Sasuke have managed. There are actually 3 levels to it, and falls under the water element. Then there's the wind element, which he went beyond a master, earth element, water mastered, and fire element. To my knowledge, he has mastered that too. 4 elements at his age. Wind is his natural element, but he's trained in water, earth and fire since he was 5, apparently. In those elements he has nearly mastered them all due to his own training. However, he's also asked me to teach him lightning. You're teaching him the 5th element already? Kakashi said, I haven't agreed yet. He has a plethora of wind jutsu, the academy jutsu, 1 fire jutsu, but nothing in earth and water. When he manages to learn 10 jutsu in each of the 4 elements and demonstrate the mastery of the elements in shinobi terms, then I'll teach him lightning, but I haven't told him that. He has already proven to have full mastery over wind and water. I'm waiting to test him for fire and earth. He's got to prove he's mastered the 10 water jutsu before I move on to the next element. Though, I suspect he already knows why I'm having him prove his effectiveness in each element he claims to know. If you haven't told him, then why would he? Because with Naruto, logic doesn't apply. The word impossible is the only thing that is impossible. He's an enigma, one that I'm still trying to figure out, honestly. I see. Anything else he might teach her? Probably something she's having trouble with. Serene Mind is the second on the list, though. The wings are first. Those are the most important. It's up to Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura to decide who learns it. They are the ones to originally test it out, after all, and Naruto created it in the first place. While I'm testing Naruto's elements, I'm training the others in control. They need it. Sakura's also learning to be a field medic, and I could tell you right now what their elements are. Once they have the control, which they're working on water walking now, I'll train them in their elements. Sasuke has lightning and fire, Sakura is earth and water. And what did Naruto's test say? He didn't take it. He knew he had access to 4 elements, and stated them. He told me his reasons, and then I decided to see where he stood with them. When he proves to me he has mastered the 4 he claims to have mastered, then I will teach him lightning. No sooner than that. He constantly proves his mastery of wind with his wind body technique, which somehow can't be copied with the Sharingan. Wind body? I'll save that for later. Anything else you wish to ask? Just one. Where would you rank your team? Overall, Naruto is high. Chunin in skills. Sasuke is low. Chunin. The only thing that is holding them back is experience. If Naruto had the same experience I did, he'd be Hokage already. And Sakura? Mid. Genin before the last mission, where something went wrong with a jutsu she wasn't ready for at the moment. As of right now, I'm not sure where she stands. What happened? A jutsu Naruto created had her go berserk when she used it. It didn't happen before, but with that action, it's been marked as Kinjutsu. He's already hesitant to teach it to anyone, and I highly doubt that he'd teach that to Hinata. If he did, I would be surprised. Kurenai let out a sigh. He better not teach her that one. I don't want to explain to her family what happened. The wings, I can keep secret. Wait for Hinata to tell you before you tell anyone, and even then, only tell them if she says it's okay. That's all I ask of you. Kakashi began to leave. He may have no aptitude for using genjutsu, but he can dispel them with ease. The only thing I can truly teach him is ninjutsu and his elements. With a sigh, she walked out of the room. 2 days later. Like Naruto on the second day, Hinata was able to quickly draw out her wings. Then he explained to her what he intended to teach her about the Serene Mind. Serene Mind improves my chakra control immensely, but I can't use any ninjutsu with it active. Wind Body is not considered a windjutsu, either. Your clan has a strict policy about using their taijutsu only, right? Yes, but you know I don't think on the clan's terms, she said. Well, Serene Mind is not a jutsu, either. It's from a time before shinobi even existed. There are 3 levels to Serene Mind. Level 1. You need your eyes closed, and unable to see. No Byakugan. Level 2, it's possible to do with your eyes open, but it's difficult to do. Level 3 is considered mastery, because you have your eyes open, and can handle the double vision, so to speak. It's like looking in 2 directions at once without a problem, Naruto clarified. Where are you with it? She heard Naruto say, level 3, but I believe you can create a level 4. But if you can't make it, what makes you think I can? Because, my dear, I'm a wind main. You're a water main. I managed to create a level 4 in wind. Believe in yourself, and you'll make it to level 3 and then take it further. He knew she had something that he didn't, so by saying this, he was essentially telling her that she could succeed. Hinata only needed to spend the whole day to advance to the first Serene Mind level. She was working on the second level, where Naruto was inspired by Alphys 16. He slapped her repeatedly, but not in the face. No, he slapped her ass, her breasts, and pretty much any other part of her body that would be deemed improper. She was rubbing her ass and staring at him on this last day of Naruto's vacation. Do you have to hit so hard? I think I'm getting sore. Naruto grinned silly as he looked at her. You know you like it. Yes, but... Naruto's smile vanished. If you want it to stop hurting, you'll have to reach the second level. The pain gives an extra incentive. Just be glad I'm not using my sword, or the wind to do the job. Now that would hurt. He then had a plan. She nodded as he said, tomorrow, I'm going to do it a little differently, since this doesn't seem to be working that well. He released her as Neji approached to retrieve her, then vanished into the wind. I wonder about him sometimes. Who am I kidding? I wonder. I adore him and think of him constantly. The fact that he is striking me in those areas doesn't really bother me. As she was walking away in contemplation, Neji appeared. I mean, if he took my clothes, that would be another story. He followed her back, blinking. After the change, Hinata's Serene Mind training took 2 weeks to complete. When Alma had taught him, he had essentially followed her path. She had to spar, wear a blindfold, and avoid Byakugan. At first, she received a lot of slaps. He urged her to find the flow all the time. It will let you know where they are going and where everything is. The only way he was able to break free from the flow was by achieving level 4 in wind. He doesn't even use level 2, let alone level 3. She eventually avoided his blows, but her body was too rigid. He continued it after she got into the zone and attained level 2, as he judged it. He was the only one who accelerated. Her taijutsu flowed more like water when she was in the Serene Mind state rather than the roughness of earth. Even though Sakura had perfected her monster form, her skin remained hard regardless of her form. In ninjutsu, it required a B rank earth, an A rank water, a B rank wind, an A rank fire, or a high C rank lightning jutsu to break through her harder skin. She was skilled at genjutsu. After discovering what Naruto considered to be his greatest control exercise, her control had also increased dramatically. He did more than simply fly. He had the ability to walk on air. According to the theory he had explained to them, it was essentially the same as water waka, it just required a lot more control and more chakra. Naruto also demonstrated mastery of the water jutsu that he had been given. He then proceeded to fire after that. On the second day, he demonstrated to Kakashi that Naruto had completed and mastered all 3 of the exercises that had been assigned to him. He realized that he had not used shadow clones to master the elements after witnessing what was happening on the first day. Additionally, he noticed Salamander nearby, merely observing. She remained silent. Nothing. No tips, no advice. He smiled and still received the exercises. Then, Kakashi gave him 10 fire jutsu, the same 10 that he had previously given to Sasuke. He was impressed at the end of the second week after they had worked on them together. Naruto was rapidly developing into a ninjutsu tank and already had 3 elements mastered. but he never stopped using that one clone to practice his kenjutsu. He and Naruto's dark side clone fought like bulls on parade. Both taijutsu and kenjutsu displayed incredible skill. He came to the realization that his strongest suit was kenjutsu, regardless of how much control he had over the elements or how many ninjutsu he had learned. Along with boosting her confidence, his training with Hinata also improved his taijutsu proficiency in the water set. Additionally, she had made it so that her clothes are unaffected by the wings. In her spare time, Sakura had been flying or studying under the medical ninja in the hospital. Before asking the Hokage for a C rank, Kakashi also made them go through 15D ranks. Are you sure about this, Kakashi? Completely, Hokage. Sama. They have the skills and needed teamwork. They can handle it, Kakashi replied. I see. Well then. A Chunin entered the room abruptly. Hokage. Sama problem regarding Genin Team 10, he said, passing the message to Naruto before turning to face him. Looks like it's a change of plans. You're getting an A rank mission in the Land of Waves. Kakashi said, another A rank, sir? It's nothing like your last one to our knowledge. You're to back up Team Asuma in the Land of Waves. Your job is protect the bridge builder named Tazuna. Specifics will be filled in by the team there. Sarutobi said, with Kakashi nodding. Hokage. Sama, excuse me, but have you become senile? Yelled the on-duty attendant. It was a Chunin. Sending a newly graduated Genin team on an A rank? Sarutobi gave the Chunin a look. I understand where you're coming from, but your concerns are not needed with this team. They have already undertaken a known A rank and succeeded with no casualties and minimal injuries, whereas a team of Chunin and Junin failed. They can handle it. The Genin nodded as Kakashi glanced at him. Accepted, Hokage. Sama. Pack up. We leave in 3 hours. Hi, sensei. Was the equal reaction. Sakura disappeared into the floor, Naruto disappeared into the wind, and Sasuke disappeared with him in a tube of flames that left no trace behind. Kakashi broke the dramatic moment by simply leaving. Surprised, the Chunin questioned, seriously? They're that far? Sarutobi answered, probably farther. Astonished, the Chunin sat down. Team 7 gathered at the south gate 3 hours later. Naruto had stated that because he was leaving the village on a mission, their training together had been put on hold. Long-term, unknowable. He instructed her to focus on the serene mind and take some time off to fly until he returned. Sakura prepared everything and bid her parents farewell. Sasuke simply gathered a good book and everything he needed. On his back, at his waist, was Devil's Horn. Since the angel halo would cover the wings, Naruto made the decision to do the same for it. When Kakashi showed up on schedule, they gave him stern looks. Nothing about these genin even looked like the students they were, according to the academy records. Well, except for Naruto's personality, that was almost exactly right. It was evident that he was still a prankster at heart. Apart from that, they were flawed in every way. As a dedicated kunoichi, Sakura had made good progress as a field medic through Naruto's air walking exercise. They all had the ability to fight while flying, using their wings, or in their so-called monster forms. Monster sparring was held at Training Ground 44. But since they could all control it to the fullest extent, that also worked twice. In addition to training Hinata, Naruto managed to get the necessary sleep and eat a healthy diet. He was a little concerned about him, but it has been shown that the concern was unjustified. He said, "You ready to go?" "Hi, sensei." They rushed outside, spread their wings, and took off. "Then let's move. If we take to the skies, we can make it there by dusk." Did I mention that Kakashi had wings made of red feathers? Yes, he does have them, and they have no bearing on what he wears. With Naruto at the top, Sasuke at the bottom left, Sakura at the bottom right, and Kakashi in the middle, they flew in a delta pattern. They arrived at the coast in about 3 hours, and they soon discovered the lave of waves. Then, in the forest, Naruto saw Ino and Shikamaru. Found 2 of the genin. There's Choji. Naruto recognized Choji from the description. He was on the bridge, assisting and protecting the bridge builder. After locating Asuma's figure, he measured his chakra's flow. He followed it and discovered that it was coming from a larger house on a pier, far from the main village. That explains it. Found Asuma. With Kakashi in front of him and Sakura and Sasuke in the same left and right positions behind him, they all turned to face him and formed a delta. Taking that as a cue to take the lead, he dove in the direction of the house by the pier and landed just off it. He was immediately followed by the others. "This is probably the client's house. We should go in and introduce ourselves," Kakashi said. Kakashi knocked on the door after the team nodded and crossed the room. A woman gave a tentative response. She wore a brown knee-length skirt and a pink short-sleeved shirt. She had dark brown eyes and raven black hair. Hello. We are the back up Asuma and his team requested from Konoha, Kakashi stated. The headband over the eye caught the woman's attention. Then she let them in by fully opening the door. Please come in. My name is Tsunami. It's a pleasure to meet you, Tsunami. Kakashi smiled in response. Sakura turned to face Tsunami. If I may ask, where is Asuma? If he's injured I may be able to help. Sakura nodded as she indicated the stairs, saying, he is upstairs, second room on the right. Kakashi nodded and said, thank you, I'll see what I can do, sensei. Then Kakashi turned to face Tsunami. If you don't mind, we'll go see what Asuma has encountered so far, so we can prepare properly. Thank you. I appreciate your help. Kakashi Hitaki. The redhead is Naruto Uzumaki, black hair is Sasuke Uchiha, and Sakura Haruno just went to check on Asuma. Pleasure to meet you all. Naruto gave her a smile. He extended his hand and she shook it, saying, the pleasure is all ours. She blushed slightly and giggled. When the group visited Asuma, Sakura had completed examining him. Even though she knew they were there, she didn't even look at them, saying, he's fine physically, it's his chakra levels I'm worried about. They gave a nod. Kakashi. What is your team doing here? I thought they'd send Anbu. Kakashi said, better on personnel. 3 genin that are at least Chunin level, and an elite Junin or 4 Anbu. They're only missing the experience for Junin. Is that gloating, or the truth? Truth. Gloating would be that Naruto would take down your team in 2 minutes flat, which he probably can using no ninjutsu. Only taijutsu, and his sword. Probably wouldn't break a sweat, either, but I digress. He was reminded by Naruto, sensei, situation? I was getting to that. What did you encounter that caused you to call for back up? Asuma said, Zabuza Momochi and the Demon Brothers. Kakashi's gaze grew wide. Kakashi questioned, Zabuza of the Bloody Mist? Asuma described the battles, which Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were learning to visualize later, saying, the very same. Demon Brothers are dead, but Zabuza escaped and was taken by what we believe to be a fake hunter nin. That's the gist of what's happened so far, and in my state, I can't get them back, so I had to send for help. Didn't think I'd get your team, though. All things considered, we'd have been a better choice for this mission. Kakashi said, if what you said is true, then we'll have to toughen up your own team. Naruto. Naruto gave a nod. If you ask me, the only thing we can really teach them as it stands happens to be control. Sakura could do that on her own easily. He turned to Asuma. Where do they stand in that regard? Tree climbing. Shikamaru has yet to master it, and Ino doesn't have the reserves for the next one. Then Naruto turned to Sakura. Sakura, you know what to do with Ino, right? Oh yeah. She smirked in response. Sasuke, you'll go to the bridge to protect the bridge builder, alongside me. We'll help the building along while we're at it, using Serene Mind to scan the area. Got it. Sensei, you'll stay here with Asuma. If someone attacks, you'll be a good one to have here to protect Asuma. We don't know if Gato's hired someone else, either, so better safe than sorry. And what about Choji? He's fine helping build the bridge. It works on his stamina, we'll also alternate on positions. How long since Zabuza attacked? 2 days. We've got 5 days. On the 5th day, Team 10 is staying here. Sensei, our team will be going after them, alongside Asuma. The 3 of them should be enough to handle any thugs Gato might send here. He won't waste robes on civilians when he could send them to Tazuna at the bridge. Kakashi gave nod. Good plan, I suppose. Not as good as when we went up against those chimeras, but still good. You're effectively speeding up Ino and Shikamaru's training, and helping Choji as well. Sasuke, Sakura? No complaints. Said Sasuke. Nothing I can do here, and I'd love to show Ino what I went through with these 2, Sakura said. Then hopped it. After giving each other a nod, they went out of the room. Asuma gave Kakashi a look. Why do you give them such free rein? Kakashi gave a shrug. It's not like they can't handle it. If Gato sends any shinobi after Tazuna on Naruto's watch, Naruto would be able to take them no matter what level they're on. Aren't you putting too much faith in him? Actually, that's putting it mildly. He can dodge any attack, from any angle, and is fast enough to escape the Sharingan. In an all-out battle between me and him, it would be chalked up to who can outlast the other. He has mastery over wind, water, and fire. He also claimed mastery over Earth, but I haven't tested his skills there yet. In a month? Kakashi said, over 6 years, actually. Or so he says. I'm still testing the validity of his claim, but so far, he has done nothing to disprove his claims. It's his kenjutsu and taijutsu you have to worry about when facing him. Not his ninjutsu. How good is he? Let's just say that, if he had my full battle experience, Naruto would be Hokage on kenjutsu and taijutsu alone. He's that good. I haven't taught him anything up front. I don't have to. He figures it out fast. He gets the theory down fast, and he masters every jutsu I give him within a week, and I give him 10 at a time. I'll be testing his earth when the mission is over. With Sakura rose from the floor and turned to face the exhausted Ino and the bored, panting Shikamaru. The voice drew both Genin's attention. What's wrong, pig? Tired already? The blonde banshee asked. So, forehead. What are you doing here? Despite having trouble breathing, she remained strong. I'm here to see where you stand, and get your reserves up. They'll never be to my current level, but they'll be good enough. Sakura replied calmly. If you're here then. Sasuke is not going to be training you. He's got his own job to consider. Besides, you don't interest him. He's already told me why he didn't choose any girl in the academy, and I know I don't fit the bill for his taste either, but at least I'm getting there. Sakura parted ways with her. Now. Snakes appeared to scuttle out from behind her. Shikamaru, get back to work, or my snakes will bite. By the way, they're desert vipers. Shikamaru was aware of desert vipers and didn't want to take the chance of being mistaken. As Shikamaru returned to work in terror, she turned to face Ino. Sakura calmly approached and prodded her forehead, shoulders, and then her navel before saying, now for you. The one at the navel was the main core, and Sakura referred to these as the chakra cores. 5 seconds later, she gave a nod. She said, go back to the tree, and start over. Ha. I've already got it down. She attempted it once more but failed to reach the 5th step. Sakura scowled as she stood above her. You don't see. You look but don't see. Your chakra reserves has quadrupled in size. Mine are still 50 times higher than your own. Sasuke has more than me, and Naruto has even more than him. We all can do this. Like I said, go through it again. A forked tongue emerged from Sakura's mouth. A tiny puff of fire escaped from her mouth as she said, unless you'd prefer the fire to your ass. Sakura climbed a tree and sat on the underside of a branch, reading a book, while Ino, in some way alarmed, returned to her work. She thought, it's good to be in charge. With Naruto, Choji, who was holding nothing, approached Naruto and Sasuke as they approached the elderly man known as Tazuna. Hey, Naruto. The elderly man, Tazuna, turned to Choji. You know them? Choji answered, yeah, they're Konoha shinobi. What are you guys doing here? Asuma. Sensei, and I thought they'd send Anbu. Naruto gave a shrug. Probably a staffing thing. Report came in, and turns out we're being sent as back. Up. Again. He turned to Sasuke. This is the second A rank we've been on, Sakura included. Honestly, with our last one, I didn't think we'd get one this quickly. It was only 2 weeks ago? That'd be about right. Choji's eyes widened upon hearing, you guys went on an A rank already? Both of them gave a nod. Choji said, maybe you can help. Naruto said gravely, there is no maybe here, Choji. Then he turned to Tazuna. Just tell us where to put the stuff, and we'll put it there. We're here to help in any way possible. Sasuke gave a nod. While working on the bridge, the two kept serene mind active. Choji was surprised as he observed the two. Some of those tasks required the use of jutsu, but they are completing them without it. Shika was right, dang. Naruto was reserving himself. Ultimately, Tazuna walked back to his house with Naruto, Sasuke, and Choji. When they arrived, they discovered Shikamaru and Ino exhausted. Tsunami, I'm home. Tsunami replied, welcome home, father. Sakura caught Naruto's attention. How bad did you wring them out? She scratched the back of her neck and said, well, desert vipers. Tazuna shot back, there are no desert vipers here. Sakura informed him, of course not. They come from my body. If I can survive an area, so can they. After blinking, Tazuna began petting the snakes that emerged from her back. Really, they're such good partners. Both Naruto and Sasuke grinned as they shook their heads. Despite seeing Sasuke, Ino remained silent. However, she was unable to follow Sakura's actions, considering that Ino appeared to have had burns on her hair. So, Sakura. How far did they get? Well, first I quadrupled Ino's reserves with the method Naruto used on me. She didn't finish the tree walking exercise yet. Shikamaru, however, finished it thanks to George, Martha and Carrie here. She looked at the snakes. Shikamaru moved beside Naruto and gradually moved away from her. I thought she was troublesome before, but this is a new level. In his ear, Naruto whispered. I hope you know that this is only the tip of the iceberg, Shika. Is she insane? Only when training and fighting. Otherwise, no. Sakura gave Tsunami a look. Need some help in the kitchen? Not really. After moving to the living room's couches and sitting down, Naruto pulled out his ocarina and began to play an arbitrary tune. Everyone took notice of this, but Sasuke shook his head. Sasuke grinned as the song went on. He does this when he's about to get too emotional for the situation. Sea Beast Serenade. Weird choice, but fitting. That sounds like something I always hear at a shrine nearby, Tsunami said. When Naruto heard the remark, he suddenly stopped. He gave her a look. There's a shrine that plays that song. Of course, it's in the forests nearby. For some reason, Gato can't find it. We don't know why, but it's the only place on the island that is safe from him, because he can't find it. Naruto pondered this for a while. Is it possible? Has the Southern Water Temple made it this far and is it now above ground? Where, exactly, is it? I have an ancestor that, if I'm right, has been there before, long ago. Only females can enter the shrine safely. I don't know why, but that's how it's always been. The last time a male was there, some kind of octopus woman appeared and killed him. That was 60 years ago. Tazuna went on. If you have a death wish, then I would say go ahead, but she'll let me. If it's the same one, then she should see some resemblance. Besides, I have one thing my ancestor had with him. Normal humans can't wield it, either. He wasn't a normal human, and neither am I. Well, can you at least wait until the bridge is done? Tazuna responded. That might be a better option. Yes, Naruto said, nodding. He glanced out the window and said, really, Gato and his thugs are a joke. It's not like we're going to die here. Not even a problem. In a single blow, Sakura could eliminate 14 of them. Which one? She inquired. Tail. Sakura exhaled. Wow, they do suck. Only potential issues are discussed, and it appears that there are no chimeras in the vicinity. We're lucky to have that. Avoid chimeras. I'm relieved about that. I'm not sure how we'd fare after the last batch, Sakura said. What? Are you losing your mind? Ino blasted her. She just stared back. You would die of fear if you saw even one chimera. It was only because of Naruto that I didn't. Before I used a jutsu I shouldn't have, I nearly died there. I promise you that avoiding seeing one would be beneficial to your sanity. How could they possibly be that bad? I mean, based on what Kakashi told me, you guys are at least Chunin level, Asuma asked. But really? Asuma, we are the only ones who have survived at all, and even then, we were fortunate to have 2 weapons that no one else in the elemental nations possesses. Due to these weapons, it would take 50 elite Junin or 3 Jinchuriki with 4 tails or more to have the same chances as us. Even so, we were fortunate that we were not hit by the person behind them. We wouldn't be here today if they did. No Yoko on our side, even with someone more powerful than the Kyuubi, Naruto informed them. Is she really that strong? Sasuke inquired in surprise. Naruto gave him a sardonic glance and said, are you serious? Did you fail to notice the actions she took to restore Sakura's normalcy? What could be more powerful than a destructive calamity? What? Shikamaru asked. A senior citizen. Team 10's eyes widened as they heard this. The only reason she can't win against this one threat. Trust me, she may look young, but really she's older than the age of shinobi itself. It's a fallen angel against her. Actually, this threat can only be touched by Sasuke and me, literally. Is this threat known by what name? Asuma inquired. Naruto pulled out 2 pictures and threw them at Asuma, saying, the Hokage knows, and it's a good thing that she hasn't made her move yet. Both pictures are of the same person. Promestine is her name. You're better off giving her what she wants if you run into her and she's pursuing whatever you're protecting. You have no chance unless you possess angel blood. Where can we locate angel blood? According to Naruto, Sasuke and I have a chance because, 2 with it is in this house. The blood is with us. The weapons are with us. We can now permanently remove her. We just need the experience. But we can't be more cautious if we don't know where she is. I'm at least aware that she's out of the country. He stood up, sighed, and walked to the door, saying, I'll be on the dock for the time being. Sasuke? Before Naruto left and resumed playing his ocarina, he answered, got it. Tsunami blushed when Naruto complimented the chef when the food was ready. and he went to the roof to release his wings, tails, and ears before he fell asleep. Team 7 didn't question it because they knew he slept in strange places and positions. Sasuke's response to the situation was, odds are he's on the roof, in the forest, or underwater. Team 7 has been in wave country for 5 days now. The tree walking exercise was something Ino had perfected. Naruto instructed Tazuna on the 4th day to ensure that the workers did not enter the next day. That will make them safer. Tazuna consented and informed the employees at the end of the day. If they continued at their current pace, the bridge would be completed in 2 days. Thus, our tale goes on. Asuma, Tazuna, and Team 7 arrived at the bridge and noticed a slight fog. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Sakura, Sasuke, and Kakashi nodded in agreement as they said, chakra-based mist, here they come. A rough voice said, hey, looks like you got some friends this time. They all turned to face the voice's origin. He was unaffected by the voice from everywhere. Trick. Abruptly, water clones of the same individual surrounded them. Kakashi and all of Genin were aware that they were merely clones. Apparently, the flow worked better with clones. Sasuke? He disappeared, then reappeared holding Devil's Horn in his right hand, saying, gladly. The 7 water clones all fell. The rough voice said, well, it looks like you've got a rival in speed, Haku. Naruto and Sasuke knew it was a male because it was smaller. It appears so. Occasionally, the flow was excessive. Sasuke, you want him? Hey, why not? Kakashi gave Naruto a look. What do you say you try your hand at an actual swordsman, Naruto? At that, Naruto had to smile and drew his broadsword. At the moment, Angel Halo was sealed off. With his broadsword in his right hand, Naruto posed and said, so, Zabuza. You fancy yourself a swordsman? How about a test of skill? Undine, I'm going to need your assistance with this. I won't have the chakra to endure a fight with him. Undine then used him as a conduit for her power, saying, you only use my power for serious fights. This is definitely a serious fight. So, you got a young Kenjutsu wielder. Let's see how he does. Zabuza dashed forward, slashing Naruto with his sword before he could dodge it. Sylph. Windstorm active, exclaimed Sylph. After disappearing, Naruto clashed blades with Zabuza, who stopped the frontal attack because he was taken aback by how quickly it came. Before attempting to cut him in two, Zabuza remarked, you're fast. While he was able to cut Zabuza's left arm, Naruto simply disappeared, the blade piercing the afterimage. Naruto became enraged when Zabuza failed to hit him. He's definitely not a genin. What are you? Genin. No way are you a genin, interrupted Zabuza. Sorry, but that's my rank. It has nothing on actual skill, as you can see, replied Naruto. Had to hold back until recently for personal reasons. Allow me to show you some Kenjutsu skills that you probably haven't heard of. Naruto placed his sword at his side and pointed to Zabuza's right shoulder as Zabuza prepared his. Before his right arm was severed at the shoulder, he took a step forward and disappeared, out of even Zabuza's line of sight. When his sword fell to the ground, blood spurted out, and he turned in shock. Naruto spun around, only to discover another person in his path. The hunter Nin apparently took the hit. Zabu. Za. His eyes lost their vitality. Naruto scowled at him as he withdrew the sword. He said solemnly, didn't ask for that. Besides, he's kind of like my son. His own volition. Unfortunately, Naruto sensed the action's underlying anger and sadness. Naruto kept staring at Zabuza until he sensed that more people were approaching. And plenty of them. Looks like our fight's over. Zabuza roared, I still ain't done yet. A group of thugs were approaching the bridge when Naruto just grabbed his still unbroken arm and blew the fog away, but then something else appeared as well. Naruto looked over at Sakura. Sakura, put Zabuza's severed arm as a stump, then head full here. 200 thugs? Easy pickings. Sensei, Asuma? Each of them adopted a position. One of the short men asked, what's this? A kid thinks he can stand up to an army? With a sudden release of his wings and fox features, Naruto responded, I faced worse than your entire army combined. You're facing a fox. Angel. Human hybrid. Sasuke approached holding a devil's horn and said, along with a wolf. Angel. Human hybrid. Sakura turned to Gato after bringing her arm to a stump. Then you've got a sphinx. Dragon. Human hybrid. She also exposed her actual form. Kakashi held Asuma with his arm. Don't, they'll be fine. Before raising his sword, Naruto placed his hands in front of Sakura and Sasuke. I want to try something new. something I know none of you have seen. What are you talking about? The sword was in front of Naruto. He charged wind, earth, water, and fire chakras into his sword, saying, "This move will probably drain a good portion of my chakra. If any are left, have fun." The energy manipulation shocked Undine, Sylph, Gnome, Salamander, and Luca. Dern yelled, "What are you doing?" "I'm hoping it works," Naruto answered. The sword glowed brighter as he raised it. Sakura questioned, "Is that the holy power of the angels?" Sasuke's gaze grew strained. "No, it's not. That's 4 elements in one strike." Kakashi gave Sasuke a look. "You're right, but that can't be. There's no jutsu that uses 4 separate elements." Zabuza's gaze expanded. Wind, water, earth, and fire in a sword. Everyone who could hear him looked at him. "You know what it is." Zabuza hardened and narrowed his eyes. "If that kid can do that." Kakashi gave him a fierce look. "What is it called?" "Even the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist have only seen it as rumor. Its power is unrivaled. Its usage, near impossible. The last time it was ever seen was supposedly before the shinobi era began, which should be impossible." Zabuza clarified. "Hell, I heard stories about it, but I thought it was just a story. Its name." Naruto lowered the luminous sword. Quadruple Giga. A powerful blast of wind, a highly pressurized blast of water, a raging torrent of fire, and several pieces of the bridge emerged from Naruto's position as soon as the sword struck the bridge. It appeared as though this beam destroyed 90% of the thugs on the bridge, including Gato. Because of the wind's backdraft, Asuma held Tazuna on the bridge while the shinobi used chakra to stay attached. Naruto was panting when it finally subsided, and there were perhaps 15 thugs remaining. Naruto just laughed. He collapsed forward, unconscious, saying, "It worked." Naruto. Sasuke examined him and discovered that he was just suffering from chakra exhaustion. "You idiot." Sakura told him, "Beat him up later. Let's kill the rest." Sasuke gave the thugs a glare that was enhanced by Sharingan. With pleasure. In just 40.2 seconds, they both charged, sliced through the rest of them with their wings. Before turning back to Naruto, they glanced at one another and then at the Junin. Sakura transformed back into a human and said, "I'll carry him back to the house. Gato's dead. Sasuke, get his sword." Sasuke ignored this and used his tail to seize the broadsword. "We'll head back. I'm sure that Naruto will apologize for the damage to the bridge." Sakura growled as Zabuza came to a stop in front of her. "Tell the kid I want him to use my sword. That tiny thing won't do him much good with an attack like that. If it's not repaired, chakra steel or not, it won't work. It would take a sentient blade to handle multiple uses of that move. He won't use your sword. He's got another." Zabuza was taken back by this. "Another one?" "The other sword is called Angel Halo. He keeps it sealed in his hand. He was told. It's been proven to be able to hold that move, and he did tell me the name of that move, just not what it did or how it's done. He knew of it, and Angel Halo can handle it. We'll let him know. I think Sakura should take up your sword, after Naruto adds a few materials to it to fall under our purposes. If you wish to give up your sword, then Sakura gets it, and Naruto modifies it." "What could this Angel Halo be made out of, that makes it able to handle that?" asked Zabuza. He pointed to his own sword and said, "Angel blood and monster scales. Same with Devil's Horn. Here. The broadsword is made of chakra steel, yes. But Angel Halo and Devil's Horn aren't made out of your run-of-the-mill materials and methods. Naruto is the only one that can forge them for a reason. Your blood can't be entirely human to wield them. Naruto, Sakura and I are alike in that regard. Naruto knows how to give a sword the properties of what we need, and then give it to her, if you wish." After giving it some thought, Zabuza nodded. "I'll give the redhead details of every water jutsu I know, secret or not, and write out the full set of katas for Pinky. I just ask that he keeps the shape intact. Kabikari Bocho is a sentient sword. She has to remember that." Sasuke nodded and grinned. "Will do." For at least 28 hours, Naruto was unconscious. Everything Zabuza had written down was given to the appropriate person along with his headband. He gestured to Naruto and said, "Here on out, my name is Zazu. Zabuza Momochi is dead. The headband is his kill. He effectively has the ability. He could stand to get some experience, but I'll stick around as Zazu." The punch to the face again interrupted Ino as she said, "Why does he get the kill? It's obvious Saw." But this time it was just a gnome that had solidified. Fucking Banshee. She's more annoying than Sylph. Sasuke shook his head, looking at Gnome. She's also much more stubborn. At least Sylph has some common sense. Gnome nodded his agreement as he glanced at Sasuke. Very true. Ino asked, what the hell are you? Sylph appeared on top of Naruto's body. Nomi, did you have to hit her? Gnome said, you want me to hit you now? She approached Naruto's head and sat down on the pillow next to his prone form, saying, nope, I was just about to say you could have waited. Sal wanted a hit too. If anything, Sal wants to kill her. Undi is constantly trying to douse her rage, though. Gnome gave the fairy a blink. You know, if there's ever one thing we can all agree on, it's that the blonde is a fucking banshee and worse than anything Promestine can conjure up. For a moment, Sylph hummed. I can think of a few things she can conjure up worse than her, but not many. You remember those chimera crackets? At that, Gnome almost went pale. I take it back. There is something worse than her. Those definitely fit the bill. Sasuke asked, what's a chimera cracket? Gnome said, trust me on this one, you don't want to know. Sylph went on, again, something we agree on. Sasuke gave a finger snap. TCH, figures. Ino moaned. What happened? You were being annoying, so I hit you. Next stupid question? Replied the gnome. Nothing was heard by Ino. What the hell are you staring at for? With a sigh, Sasuke reiterated what Gnome had said. Ino gave the earth spirit a fierce look and punched her, but she didn't even move. Sasuke suppressed a laugh and asked, was that supposed to hurt? Gnome, you don't have to insult her. She does that enough on her own. He stated, I know that hit wasn't enough to phase you. Hell, Tora does more damage with one claw than she does with her hits. Then Sakura approached Ino. Hit me. Ino just stared. What? She cocked her head slightly and gestured to her cheek, saying, hit me. Right here. If you can't mar my face with a single punch, then you can't do anything to Gnome, which you just tried to do. With a growl, Ino actually directed chakra into her punch, which she delivered. Sakura asked, unfazed by the punch that caught the Team 10 Genin off guard, is that all you got? Then she went to the window and opened it. When Sakura repositioned herself across from Ino, she cocked her fist back and delivered a single blow to Ino's face, sending her flying out the now open window and into the dark. That's no punch. Blowing on her knuckles, she remarked, now that is a punch. Choji, Shikamaru, and Asuma merely gazed. Then Asuma turned to face Kakashi. What the hell did you teach her? Nothing much. Just chakra and elemental control. Can't do much else for her chosen line of work. Kakashi sighed. Still present, Zabuza whistled. Now that is good, Kunoichi. She bared her knuckles and said, thank you, and by the way, no marks. As promised, there were no bruises. How do you manage that? Asked Shikamaru. Simple, it's the result of a jutsu that went out of control at first. Sakura said. After that happened, though, it was marked as kinjutsu due to possible side effects. One we didn't see with Naruto or Sasuke. You need the Hokage's permission along with our approval to even use it. Once used, there's no going back, she ultimately alerted them. Zabuza asked, what kind of side effects were found? Sakura glanced at Gnome and said, not my position to say. It was actually thought of by Gnome, Salamander and Sylph. Not sure if Undine had any part in it, though. Naruto learned it from them, and taught it to us. Both Sylph and Gnome nodded. She's right. We have the almost full credit for the jutsu from Naruto. Officially, though, Naruto created it, because he's the first to use them. Zabuza saw the forms on the bridge. The angel fox, the angel wolf, and the cherry dragon. I'd be able to spread the word. Zazu said. Naruto moaned and slowly sat up, saying, say that you three took out the crime lord Gato. Looks like the Gaki's up. Naruto gave Zabuza a look. He said, so, what's up? What's up? You're out of it for over a day, and all you say is, what's up? Sakura asked. How long until your mind wakes up? Give me a few hours. I passed out due to chakra overburn combined with chakra exhaustion. So, how's the lack of an arm for you, man? Zazu replied to Naruto. It's Zazu now. He informed the red-haired person. I was thinking of telling some local bounty hunters about you guys after you leave. The heroes of Wave, Angel Fox, Copy Wolf, and Cherry Dragon. Naruto informed him, Angel Fox, Angel Wolf, and Desert Dragon. Leave the quadruple Giga out of it, though. Desert Dragon will be getting Kabikari Bocho, while Angel Fox would modify it to work like Angel Halo, and Devil's Horn. Zazu said. Think you can do that without changing the shape? Naruto gave a nod. It'll take a while, but I can do it. Let me guess. The reason for not changing the shape is because your sword is sentient, isn't it? Kakashi gave Asuma a look. Told you. Its response was, shut it. At that, Zazu chuckled. Hell yeah. Can't use her anymore, and she already has some of the katas down. That scroll is for you. Every jutsu I knew, down to Batujutsu. Kinjutsu or not, it's there. Words my from son, too. He went out following his beliefs. Naruto understood the idea and nodded. Yeah, I see. I'll look over it tomorrow. For now. Hey, where's my ocarina? He received it from Sakura. Had to keep it from the blonde banshee. She's been trying to grab it thinking she can impress Sasuke with music. Naruto laughed and said, won't work. He then put it to his lips and began the Song of the Heart. Sasuke had long since deduced the meaning of each note and the general emotions conveyed by the song. The description made him sigh. Sasuke blinked at the final one. Pain, sadness, renewed hope, freedom? As Sasuke read the translation out loud, everyone turned to watch him. What could that be for? Asks Shikamaru. Obviously you know, if you pointed it out. The ocarina was removed from Naruto's mouth. It was a result of me putting this country's situation in my heart and playing. What I knew of it, at least. Sasuke has been able to tell what that song is saying, each time. It's because he knows what my heart puts into the song. It's called, Song of the Heart, for a reason. Sasuke gave a nod. Knowing how his heart acts is how you can interpret the song. It's how I know what he feels when he plays it. I know his heart, and the notes bring it to light. It's the reason he's so calm, most of the time. It's either training, his girlfriend, or the ocarina. Don't forget us, Sylph added. We've been there for him ever since he was 5. Asuma gave Sylph a look. I may not be able to hear the shorter one, but you I can hear. Why? Asuma nodded and said, you're a wind element, aren't you? That's why. I'm the spirit of wind. Nomi there is the spirit of earth. You can only hear her if you have a connection to earth, or she grants you her power. It's either that, or you have angel or monster blood, but those have diluted after so long. So, Naruto has your control over wind, her control over earth, and water and fire too, because of you 4, is that right? Yup. So, where's his control over earth compared to the other 3, Gnome? Never talked to you before, so I couldn't ask. Gnome replied, same as fire, actually. Water is his worst element. Which is weird, considering that water and wind go together highly often. Sylph said. Kakashi gave nod. I still plan to test him with earth and give him the necessary jutsu. Quick question. How does he gain mastery of the shinobi version of elemental manipulation so easily? Gnome glanced at Kakashi and said, it's simple, really. He understands all 4 of our elements. He can use them to the utmost, because of this understanding. He knows how the element behaves, how it works, what it does naturally, and has put himself in each element separately and together. Gnome's right, sensei. It's the understanding of the element that lets me master it so easily in shinobi terms. Said Naruto. The only one I don't have any training with, I don't know much about, and that's what I asked you for, lightning. Kakashi gave a shrug. I might as well tell you now, though you probably already knew. I was only planning to teach you lightning when you proved your claims in shinobi terms. Earth is the only one I haven't tested yet. Naruto gave a nod. Gnome said, I just told you how good he is with my element. True as that is, and this is only professionalism that's saying this, I still have to see where it would cut off, and give him the jutsu for him to master before starting it. One element at a time, and he should breeze through it easily, if it's as good as you say. Kakashi replied, he's a natural wind, isn't he? Yup. Chirped Sylph. Gnome threw a rock at Sylph and exclaimed, ow. Don't start. Naruto gave a headshake. They do this all the time in my head, though mainly it's with a fist. You get used to it after a while. So, do they give any bonuses to jutsu? Naruto gave a nod. Yeah, I'll only tell you what Sylph and Undine do, being as those are the only 2 I used to take out Zabuza's arm. This caused his eyes to widen. What the? Naruto gave Sylph a look. Sylph is a spirit of wind. She's annoying, I'll admit, but I like her more than the others. I have a much deeper connection with her than the others. Undine, as the spirit of water, helps me see something known as the flow, through a state known as serene mind. Using serene mind on my own actually cost me a bit of chakra because I'm not a natural water. If not for Undine, I wouldn't have water as an element. When Undine channels her power through me, I instantly have access to full serene mind, which would cost me chakra to keep up on my own, and I don't use any chakra since Undine is maintaining it. There is a slight drawback that I found, though. Kakashi was taken aback and asked, a drawback? Yeah, when I use full serene mind without Undine's help, I can't use any ninjutsu, aside from what Sylph taught me of her wind guard, wind dance, wind body, along with anything regarding my sword. So basically, in that state on my own, I'm limited to kenjutsu and taijutsu. On the plus side, I am effectively immune to genjutsu that affect my senses, because I'm not looking at whatever is there. The flow tells me what's real, what's not, who is who, where they are, everything. It is with full serene mind that I can match Kakashi Sensei in an all-out spar, while he uses his Sharingan. A fight like that would make that fight one of stamina, not skill. And Sylph? Inquired Kakashi. Naruto gave Sylph a look. I don't really use her power much. Unless I really want to go fast, or need to do something that gets past the flow. I only have one move that can escape the flow's notice. Lightning Sword Flash. When using it on my own, I reach the limits of the flow's notice. With Sylph, the flow can't keep up. I'm moving too fast, and the flow gets confused. So, what's it feel like to take on a member of the Seven Swordsmen of the Mist and win? Kakashi inquired. Naruto's response was direct, tiring as hell. When Ino eventually returned to the room with her clothes rumpled and her hair in tatters with grass and bark in it, Sasuke remarked, "Yeah, that's Naruto." She was giving Sakura a fierce look. Forehead. To her surprise, Naruto said, "Drop it, Ino. You're awake?" Ino blushed because she walked straight into that one. Being as I'm talking to you, I'd say that was obvious. What are those things? Hey. Gnome and Sylph were not audible to her. Oh, look at that. A woman that doesn't know any better. What? Sasuke was the one who spoke, but Ino had totally overlooked it. Asuma said, "For the record, I didn't know anything about them until today." Sasuke smirked as he repeated, "Oh, look at that. A woman that doesn't know any better." Asuma sighed, but you. Damn, walked right into that one. Kudos to Team 4-Star for this idea. Sakura said, "That you did. On another note, Naruto, you feeling better?" With Kurama, Dini and Sal working on me, I'm better than I should be. Raising an eyebrow, Sasuke said, "I know Sal, but Dini?" Sylph sulked and said, "You took my old nickname for her." Couldn't help it. At least it's not Undi. Gnome nodded as he glanced at Naruto. She hates Undi more than Dini. Naruto acknowledged, "Yeah. I don't want to upset her, but Undine is too long." As soon as the door opened, Naruto's attention was drawn to Tsunami's bowl of chicken ramen. She blinked as the bowl left her hands and Naruto was not in the bed. "Heard you woke up. It's chic. Ken. Soup?" she asked. Naruto was eating the soup like it was ramen when they turned the corner. It most likely was in his mind. Sakura shook her head, saying, "Ramen still gets to him whether he's hunting for his own food or not." Tsunami began with the word, question. "If it's about Naruto, I'm the one that would have the most answers, aside from Sylph," replied Sasuke. "His life doesn't seem all that good from what I've seen. How bad did he have it?" Ino laughed. "He had it easy." Sasuke gave her a fierce look. He turned to Sylph and said, "Ignore her, as she knows nothing." Sylph, and the spirits stay in his mind when not out in the real world, but other than that there are few he trusts implicitly. Kakashi isn't even on that list, yet. This surprised everybody. In fact, aside from the spirits, I can count them on both hands. Hokage, Sakura, Hinata, and myself, the two at the ramen stand, and that Anko lady he mentioned. In essence, only 5 of them are solely human. The others are either the spirits or monsters. Sasuke nodded in his head. In addition, going over the list he gave me, the amount that only have human blood in them can be counted on one hand. After a jutsu we used, Sakura no longer has just human blood, and I didn't from birth, and no, it's not because of the Sharingan. Besides, Naruto and I are distantly related. Ino was taken aback. But, if he is then, he's not Uchiha, because our relation goes even further back before the age of shinobi. He already told me of this, and the spirits, along with 2 heavenly knights, one of which considers Naruto a son, that it's true. The Uchiha clan should have been wiped out long ago for disgracing our ancestors. That is what I believe after learning the truth of our non-human blood. He looked at Naruto, who finished the last of the broth. He's right. The Uzumaki clan, Uchiha clan, and Senju clan were born from the children of the Rokudo Sennin, who was born of a line from a half-angel, half-human. The Namikaze clan, while small and unknown, was born from the same half-angel. Shikamaru, how many people had Namikaze in their name in Konohagakure? Only one that I know of. And why? The slothful genin answered, no one knows. He was considered an orphan. He ended up being the Yondaime Hokage. Why bring this up? He went to his bag, took out a picture of a red head, and threw it to him, because Shika, the Namikaze clan, had the majority of the angel part of the bloodline. And for some reason, I had it years ago. Sasuke has it as well. Picture my hair and face back in the academy. Compare it to the only Namikaze known in Konoha. That's my mother. Do the math. Her name is Kushina Uzumaki. Shikamaru's mind was working overtime, as everyone could see. He looked at Naruto, then back at the picture, his eyes unfocusing, and finally, his eyes widened in realization, and he looked at Naruto. And this wasn't mentioned to anyone. Why? Think about my father, which I know you already figured out who it is, and how many enemies he made. The Sandaime sought to protect me by keeping the knowledge secret from the public, even the council didn't know. Shikamaru simply shook his head and threw the photo back. Every Konoha native looked at Shikamaru in disbelief when he said, the civilians in our village are fucked in the head. Some shinobi, too, at that. Shikamaru, what are? But Choji stopped short. He seemed to be requesting permission to tell Naruto. The only one I would not trust with that information in this room is Ino, the banshee loose lips. With a nod, Shikamaru whispered in Choji's ear. Before settling in rage, his eyes widened in surprise. Those bastards. Ino knew it was juicy gossip when she heard Choji curse like that over Shikamaru, but she chose not to inquire. I'm not gonna like the information, am I? She inquired. Both Shikamaru and Choji gazed at her. In a nutshell, if you were told, you'd go on a rampage, or pity Naruto. I may not know him personally, but I do know one thing. The top 5 of his hatred list. Rapist is at the top, followed by harming those close to his heart. Third is the one that applies. Pitying him is a way to get him angry, real quick. Actually, that's 4th on the list, Shika. People harming my ocarina is 3rd. 5th is those that harm innocent people. He nodded but blinked. And that's why I'm not saying anything. By the way, I figured out more than just what you were planning on. Naruto smirked and shot back, you mean my father and my gift, spirits not included? Troublesome. You knew I'd figure it out with it all, didn't you? Of course. So troublesome. Naruto gave Kakashi a look. So, we leave when the bridge is finished, right? Shrugging, Kakashi said, pretty much. Alright then. How long until it's finished? Tazuna replied, give or take a week. Would have taken 3 weeks if not for you guys helping in the construction. Naruto gave a nod. Then I'll rest for today. Tomorrow, I'll be right as rain. Ever since the body. Soul charge incident, my healing factor multiplied by 5 for physical wounds. For reserves, it's only a 50% increase. Then Kakashi said, alright then, you gonna hit that shrine tomorrow? Of course. According to Sasuke, I'm coming with. If it's what I think you're thinking, then I have just as much a right to head there as you do. Naruto nodded as he gave him a look. That's my plan. I have to see it for myself. See if I'm right. Sasuke gave a nod. The afternoon after that, soon after lunch, Sasuke and Naruto left Tazuna's place to go to the shrine that had been mentioned a week or so earlier. They saw a monster there, but they also found it rather easily. Naruto recognized it right away as the same one Luka had mentioned to him. He bemoaned, attracting the Kraken's attention, I take it you're the Kraken of the South Sea? Her eyes narrowed as she turned to face the two and said, no one has mentioned the South Sea in a long time. What are you males doing here? Speak now, before I kill you. In a no fighting position, Naruto raised his hands. We didn't come here to fight. In fact, I actually came to ask a question, he began. The Kraken paused and blinked at this. A question? That's new? Naruto let out a sigh of relief. Well, I wanted to know if you knew our ancestor. His name was Luka, and I was told by a friend of his named Sylph that he had been to both temples in the sea. When I heard about this shrine from a local, and the fact that there was a monster that killed any male that came close, I recognized the description and hoped that you could answer the question I had. Her eyes widened and a smile appeared on her face when Luka was mentioned. Ah, yes. Luka was a fine boy. Even better as a man, or so I'm told. Yes, I knew him. Not well, mind you, but I had met with him twice. Grinning, Naruto located a rock and took a seat. Sasuke sat down on a nearby rock and said, well, maybe you can answer this one, since I was right. How the hell did an underwater temple rise to a shrine above ground? This has me baffled, as there are no volcanoes, or anything else that can make land rise, and the water level hasn't receded enough to bring it this far above land, according to Undine. Well, it wasn't exactly a fun thought, I'll admit. You see, after the Jubi was released the first time, the landscape changed much. The damage was far more noticeable in the south and west quarters of the known world at the time. Luca would have his roots in what is now known as Water Country. A few years after the Jubi was sealed, Helgondo simply vanished. No one knows where it went, so I can't tell you much about that, but something about its disappearance has both me and Poseidonus of the North Sea in a ditz, I guess is the word. Monsters have all but disappeared, most in hiding, where I do not know, but you rarely see them these days. And it's worrying me that the swimmers are gone. I mean, some of the craziest things I've ever seen are coming out, while everything familiar is gone. Didn't think the world changed much, though I noticed that Helgondo isn't on the atlas these days. Any idea on what happened to it? None. We would have known if it had sunk to the ocean floor, and it hasn't. It just disappeared. Vanished into thin air. Poseidonus said something was wrong at one point, and when she went to check it out, Helgondo was gone. She couldn't find it. I checked my seas, and it wasn't there, so it didn't drift off. There was no indication of fighting, and nothing else of the like. No struggle, nothing. Surprisingly, there was nothing that could be found that would help us find it. Sasuke questioned, "You think it could have gone into the air?" Our thoughts at the time were, how would anyone get a continent to fly? She responded, found out a few centuries later that someone had. They created the village hidden in the skies. It was surprising, but it brought up what happened to Helgondo. We had a theory that the hidden sky village was really Helgondo, but we couldn't prove it. Only Alma could, but she didn't care about it much. Sasuke and Naruto both started to perspire. Yes, we had the same reaction. Supposedly, the sky village crashed some time ago. I think it was 60 years ago, I don't know. I haven't been able to check it out, but maybe you can. Naruto asked, "It's because we're Luca's descendants, isn't it?" "Yes, if you are his descendants, I should trust you with this. You might find something his mate left behind." Aliphes 16 was a hoarder, I swear. She found interesting, she kept it. Not to mention she tended to travel as a traveling gourmet. Seriously, she loved food way too much. She's right. Alice did love food too much. Luca found that out before he met Undi. Sylph replied. Naruto broke out in a sweat. Sylph. Arubiti told me that part already. I know, but... Sasuke said, everyone present knows. So, you want us to check to see if the village hidden in the sky is really Helgondo? I do. If anything comes up and we end up heading that way, then we'll do just that. Sadly, we're shinobi, so we have to follow orders. Naruto exhaled. I really just wish I could say to hell with it, and go there, but if it's somewhere Konoha shinobi aren't supposed to go, then we can't go there without a mission. If you could show us their symbol, then we can have a mission that involves it put on hold until we can take it. After giving it some thought and nodding, the Kraken drew the symbol in the sand with one of her tentacles. This is the symbol they used back then. Any ruins of the village would likely have this somewhere there. If you see anyone using it, then they're probably from there, too. Sasuke used his Sharingan to commit it to memory. It's better to be safe than sorry. Instead, Naruto drew it in an untitled black book. Sasuke's eyebrow went up. What? It's an objective book. When I'm told about something that I would want to handle, or am given a request that I can't follow up on immediately, I write it in here, the details as well, and cross them off when I'm done. Meeting Granberria is on the list too. She's the only heavenly knight I haven't met in person. Sasuke nodded despite raising an eyebrow. So, you'll keep it in the book. I memorized the symbol with Sharingan. I'll know it when I see it. Naruto glanced at the Kraken and said, good. Thank you for your help, and we'll be sure to get back to you on what you asked about as soon as we are able. Until I can find out where it crashed, I cannot be sure if I need a mission to go there, or I can go there on a break. Same with Sasuke. Kraken of the South answered, I understand the duty of a shinobi. Naruto and Sasuke nodded and said, if you ever find out the truth, please, let me know. If you don't mind my asking, I sense 3 bloodlines in each of you. Sharingan, Angel, and Monster. It's an elemental one, Angel and Monster. Really? Then perhaps you could show me your monster forms. I am curious, since Luca's children didn't have one that I knew of, she acknowledged. After exchanging glances, they shrugged and transformed back into their true forms. We can use our true forms, which combine all 3 bloodlines, Angel, Monster, or flat-out human. We have another teammate that has Sphinx and Dragon blood in her, and was awakened. How does that work out? Really well, actually. Her skin is a lot harder than most dragons, according to Gnome. Her fire affinity is extremely high now, too. Earth was pretty high beforehand. Me? Once I prove mastery over Earth in shinobi terms. Thanks to Gnome I pretty much have that mastery. I'll be learning the lightning element, which should be a lot harder, because I don't have anyone to explain it to me, or tell me how it acts. I mean, I got a few ideas, but that's all I got. It's the only element that would prove to be a challenge. I see. Well, good luck, you two. You'll probably need it. After giving each other nods, they began to depart from the clearing, and if you see Poseidoness of the North Sea, tell her I said hi. Wavering to her, Naruto said, will do, as they kept walking away. Surprisingly, the bridge took a week longer to complete. Before he put Naruto's control over Earth to the test, Kakashi repeatedly declared that they would return to Konohagakure. Teams 7 and 10 were standing on the end of the bridge when it was completed. Thank you for all your help. We couldn't have gotten it this fast without you guys, Tazuna yelled. According to Tazuna's grandson Inari, Naruto, you'll come back right? Naruto struck a contemplative pose. When I have time off, maybe. That is, if I'm not on a date or just flying around, sure, I'll come. He grinned. Besides, when we find something out, we've got to come back anyway. We'd visit you while we're at it. Inari gave a nod. Tsunami simply turned to face Naruto. Thank you for helping Inari, he really needed it. Trust me, it could have been a lot worse if I actually showed him what could have been his life. He'd be having nightmares for months if I showed him my life before I turned 5. Tsunami answered, I'll take your word for it. In addition to Zazu, who had already informed a few fishermen, both teams bid farewell. He intended to share the stories of the 3 heroes with travelers. Say Tazuna, what are we gonna name the bridge? Tazuna answered, already got a name for it, Gichi. The Heroes Bridge, though, I think we should put Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura names underneath the names so people know just who saved our land. Naruto, the fox. Sasuke, the wolf. Sakura, the dragon. Those 3 brought this place back to the way it should be. You've got a point. Plus, I heard that Naruto had become popular with the orphans. Acknowledged Gichi. They always say it's like he knows what they're feeling, and tells them things in a way they understood. I heard him once, and it was like he was talking about his own experiences. Well, considering he's an orphan himself, I'm not surprised. Tsunami replied. Clan or not, he's got no family left aside from Sasuke and that blood is thin. Tazuna put an arm around her shoulders and said, he's got a family in Wave. His laugh was loud. You know that as well as I do, he exclaimed. A day later Hinata was sitting on a nearby bench when Team 7 and Team 10 arrived in the village. She grinned as she glanced at Naruto. Glad you're back, Naruto-kun. She blushed slightly as he smiled and said, same here, Hinata-chan. Before he left, Kakashi said, Asuma and I will report to the Hokage. The 3 of you have today and tomorrow off. Asuma hurried to follow him. After grabbing Hinata by the waist, Naruto disappeared with her. Following the report's presentation, hearing the report, Sarutobi sighed. That figures. So, how long until you think Sakura can handle her new sword? With Naruto and Sasuke, I'd say she gets to Chunin level by the time the Chunin exams roll around. Replied Kakashi. I'd probably get Naruto finished on lightning element by then, too. He should have 4 elements mastered. Why do you think he needs the 5th? Don't think he needs it, but he asked for it on the first week. He's proven his mastery over wind, water, and fire, and learned jutsu from each, and I plan to test his control over earth and give him a certain amount of jutsu after we're done with the cooldown period. I gave them tomorrow off. Good call. I won't call them in unless something comes in that needs their presence. As of right now, there's nothing. They have 3 days off from missions. This is their 2nd A rank this month, as you know. I don't know how they managed to pull this one off without much injury, but I guess it's in their blood. Kakashi answered, that's what I would guess. I'll let them know tomorrow that they have 3 days off and then have to do another 10 D ranks before the next supposed C rank. There was a nod when Sarutobi said, make it 20, unless something comes up. Then Kakashi turned to leave. Asuma simply gave him a look before doing the same. Somewhere, in the direction of the Hyuga compound, Naruto and Hinata were strolling. It seems that Hinata's father agreed to see him even though he wasn't sure it was a good idea. Naruto-kun. Why are you nervous? Hinata. I may not have gone through this before, neither has Luca or the spirits, but I know one thing that they all have seen firsthand. Fathers don't like the boys their daughters like. Luca didn't experience it because Alice's father wasn't even alive. He still knew, and being a father himself, he knew. I guess. Hinata was at a loss for words, but they had arrived at the Hyuga compound and entered. Naruto maintained a regal gait appropriate for a warrior and a nobleman while avoiding overt signs of nervousness. Even though he detested the noble lessons Undine taught him, he is now mentally appreciating her for them. He was not good at formality. Naruto kept his senses focused on Hinata as they navigated the maze. Like hallways, making sure he didn't lose her. Naruto had to raise an eyebrow when they arrived at the indoor dojo, which was not far away. Somehow, it appeared to be a vast wasteland. One side had bleachers, but not the other. One of the men they saw identified himself as Hiashi Hyuga, the father of Hinata. Naruto could see the other's intense distaste for them both and the concealed smirk that was coming from him. Then he noticed a young girl who appeared to be a hybrid of Hiashi and Hinata. Hinata bowed her head slightly and said, "Father, I brought him as you asked." One of the older people sneered, "About time. It's been 3 days since we told you to bring that teacher of yours." Another elder snorted, "All I see is a demon that couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag." Heishi signaled silence with a hand. Hinata nodded and said, "Hinata, this boy. He taught you, did he not?" Then Heishi turned to face him. "Naruto, you don't know what's happening, do you?" Naruto noticed that Heishi was concealing something when he looked at them. "If I may ask, why did you ask me here? I just got back from an A rank with my squad not 2 hours ago, and I am slightly tired." "Show some respect," yelled one elder. "We are." Then Naruto interrupted him. Naruto said calmly, "I show respect to those who have earned it. You have not. And even then, my respect is not seen as actual respect to those that do not know me personally. I may not think myself superior, but that does not mean I will simply bow down." Heishi silenced the elders and then nodded. "I have heard that you have been teaching my daughter a jutsu." "I have only taught her one, and it does not even classify as ninjutsu," replied Naruto. "Nor does it classify as genjutsu, as I have none in my jutsu roster." "Explain." "It is really something that has come long before the shinobi age had begun. I have learned about it from a friend of mine, and have been practicing its use since I was 5 years old. All shinobi achieve a watered-down version of it through years of experience, but it is possible to learn its usage if you know what you're doing. I do, and I have been teaching her." "What is it called?" "It's called the Serene Mind. It is actually easiest for a water element to master, and Hinata is a water element. I'm a wind, and it took me nearly a year to get it down completely, and another 6 months to master it." "And her taijutsu?" Naruto answered, "It's from sparring while she has Serene Mind active. Her style changed from a rough and edgy form to a smooth and flexible form. In other words, whoever was teaching her taijutsu was making her suffer, because the taijutsu was meant for earth elements, not water. During our spars her taijutsu, while the same in prospect, it changed from earth to water." An elder noted, "She does not use the juken. The juken, as you call it, uses chakra. As you all probably know, chakra is separated into 5 primary elements, and an unknown amount of secondary elements. Those 5 elements each have their own properties. Again, this is old news for you, so I'll cut down to the reason I'm bringing it up." Heishi gave a nod. "Every taijutsu style draws from 1 or 2 of those 5 elements. Goken, for example, is a mix of fire and lightning, for its speed and power. Juken, however, seems to follow the element of earth, not water. My style is a combination of 4 styles, based solely on the elements themselves. There is one for wind, water, earth, and fire, and I combine all 4 for my taijutsu. The Suchiken, or Earth Fist, is not a light-hitting style, like the Juken. Suchiken takes the power and nature of earth into the style. You could liken it to Tsunade's strength for an offensive earth type. Heiken, or Fire Fist, takes the power and nature of fire. This style is built for raw, unrefined power. Mizuken does the same for water, and Keisuken for wind. Mizuken is more for defense and countering. Keisuken is speed and unpredictability. Out of all of them, I prefer Keisuken, but I can use all 4 interchangeably, creating the elemental strike fist." An elder asked, not understanding how it relates to her training, "How does this tie into it?" Naruto shook his head at the angry expression on the elder's face and said, "Even with your eyes, you do not see what I see. Pity. The reason I brought it up is the fact that earth and water don't mix. If there was a style of Juken that flows more like water, instead of earth, then she'd pass through them with such ease. It would make any prodigies you have at the moment look like a joke compared to her progress. Having her learn an earth-based taijutsu would only make her skills suffer. A water-based taijutsu would make her skills shine brighter than any star. While flowing along with the Serene Mind active, she follows what the flow tells her to do. The form is not compliant with the original taijutsu, so it shifted as she got used to the alterations. When she did, and sparred without Serene Mind, she fought the same way she did with it active, and was doing a lot better than before. Heishi asked, and you know this, how, while the others, whether they liked it or not, had decided it was best to listen. Because I saw that before it, she was forcing her body to move a certain way. During the training, the flow of Serene Mind tells you how to best avoid an attack. You do what the flow tells you to, you'll dodge it perfectly, maybe even counter, if you can. I've countered a Suiryuden with a sword by listening to the flow. I've cut fire, water and earth jutsu with a sword by listening to the flow. By mastering it, she'll know where everything is, without use of the Byakugan. Heishi stopped the others' protests by raising an eyebrow and asking, you believe it to be better than the Byakugan? The girl, who was mostly ignored, simply observed with curiosity. Naruto went on. Honestly, I think Serene Mind, when mastered, is better, but then again, I don't have the Byakugan, so I can't make an accurate comparison. Hinata is the only one that can make that call, as she's the one that has both. When I left the village, she had not mastered it yet, so I don't know, to be honest. Hinata turned to face her dad. Father, I had felt Naruto through use of Serene Mind 5 hours before he arrived at the South Gate, while I was at Training Ground 8 in the Northwest. Naruto gave her a look. He was clearly taken aback when he said, I can't even see that far with Serene Mind. She gave him a startled look. You can't? Naruto gave her a small smile and said, no, I can't. I thought you could take it farther than I could, and it looks like I was right. But as soon as he remembered who was there, he lost it. I am also impressed that you seem to have a ways to go to master it. I have been using it to spar with my teammates, and they can never really hit me. Ninjutsu, taijutsu, and even when Kurenai Sensei tries to use genjutsu, I am not affected, even though it's active, since the flow tells me the truth. Sight, smell, touch, and hearing are not needed when I have Serene Mind active. Naruto let out a whistle, and to think you haven't mastered it yet. That's not bad. Took me 8 months to get that far with it. The compliment caused her to nod. Father, I would like to see a master use the Serene Mind in a spar. With all these benefits, I believe there is a drawback that you haven't mentioned. Naruto gave a nod. I take it you wish to see me spar with Serene Mind active? Heishi gave a nod. Then, if I may, am I allowed to choose my opponent? Heishi answered, I had considered testing it myself. Oh. Well, I was planning on choosing you, anyway, so. Works for me. Naruto sighed. Shall we start now? Hinata sat on the bleachers as they both descended. Naruto.kun. Be careful, she yelled in her head. The message was obvious when he glanced over her shoulder. Don't be concerned about me. I'll be alright. She smiled, not at all surprised at his reaction to her. Naruto and Heishi were 15 feet apart. I must warn you Heishi, with Serene Mind mastered, I have matched Kakashi Hatake with his Sharingan revealed using Taijutsu and Kenjutsu only. This spar is to all out on both ends. I only ask that you show what you can do with Serene Mind, Heishi said. After nodding and assuming the started stance, Naruto turned on the Serene Mind. One of the elders exclaimed, begin. Naruto easily sidestepped Hiashi's palm thrust attempt as if he saw it coming. As he did, Heishi became aware that Naruto's eyes were closed. You do not look? Before his eyes opened, Naruto said, makes it easier to handle. Heishi saw that Naruto didn't appear to be using his eyes at all. He snorted in his head when he saw the cold expression. He dismissed it as Naruto's inattention. Reaching up, he attempted to hit one of his chakra points. After pushing the hand aside in the Mizuken, water portion, and elbowing his stomach in the Heiken, fire portion, Naruto initially made no attempt to intercept. The deflection only slightly surprised Heishi, but it was not noticeable. Naruto took a small step back, but his eyes remained detached and his stance remained loose. I have heard that you know several ninjutsu. Why have you not used them? This is an all-out spar. To everyone's surprise, Naruto calmly replied, I can't, they all heard him. That was where Heishi ended the spar. Naruto said with a detached expression, we're done then. Though, I do have a question. If it is about why I didn't use ninjutsu, it's actually highly simple. Naruto replied. Serene Mind, as you thought, does have a drawback. You cannot perform any ninjutsu over E rank. The only E rank ninjutsu I can perform is the Kawarimi and Henge, and the Kawarimi is pointless in that state. Genjutsu is the same way, I'd presume, but I wouldn't know for sure. I have no aptitude for genjutsu, having as much chakra as I do. Considering the fact that the Hyuga clan does not use ninjutsu outside of our clan, it is a perfect addition. However, it may clash with some of the more advanced Juken techniques. Naruto gives a headshake. He rubbed his side and said, Hinata has managed to use the 8 trigrams. 32 palms in that state. Some of them hit, as I didn't have Serene Mind active myself at the time. The moment I did, however, I dodged them with increasing ease. Hiashi's eyebrow went up, and how come it does not stop her from using it? Probably the same reason I can still using the earth rumbling decapitation using that state. While the technique is an earth element jutsu, it falls under kenjutsu, not ninjutsu. My chakra control is increased 30-fold when in that state, at the cost of using ninjutsu and presumably genjutsu. If the technique falls under taijutsu, such as the 8 trigrams, 32 palms, then it won't be blocked out. I don't know what you use exactly, but if it would use direct contact, then I know you can use it. I doubt the Kaden, which I do know of, would be blocked out, though it probably would not be needed. There is something I found in single combat, though. An eyebrow was raised. Know that I only found this out recently, but Serene Mind, if you know what to look for, can help you follow the chakra inside the opponent's body. I found a few points on you that stick out more, probably due to them being much more condensed than the rest of the paths. I also felt you try to strike one of those particular spots on me. Hiashi's eyes widened at this. The elder's eyes grew wide as they heard this. Though she was unable to see them with her Byakugan, Hinata had already realized it. Hiashi glanced at Hinata to make sure. When she realized what he was asking, she just nodded. He gave Naruto a startled look. Do you know what you were seeing in those condensed portions? I don't know for sure, but if I had to make a guess, it would be the Tenketsu. Hiashi gave a nod of agreement. You are correct, if what you said is any indication. Your taijutsu is effective, as is the Serene Mind. I approve. It was the first time the girl spoke. I don't get it, what happened? Hinata gave her a look. Hanabi, the Serene Mind is complicated without understanding the elements themselves. To understand the elements, you need to know how the elements flow individually. Only 4 are needed, though, as it was first figured out before the Shinobi Age. Before the Shinobi Age, before chakra was discovered, Serene Mind was hard to achieve. Very few could get it at a young age, and as such, a watered-down version is gained with experience. I wouldn't be surprised if the war veterans would have it down for the most part. They feel a disturbance, they strike. The flow isn't telling them it's coming, it's an ingrained instinct. That's why it's only a watered-down version. It's all pure instinct, while with Serene Mind, it's all conscious effort. Not just reacting, but seeing all, even if they have nothing to do with you. The natural instinct isn't like that. The elders were surprised, as that was the longest Hinata had spoken without a stutter to their knowledge. Naruto gave her a look. Good, you recognize the difference between the two. At that, Hinata gave a nod. It dawned on Hiashi then. Hinata, Hanabi, get down here. Uzumaki-san? Naruto gave him a look. Hiashi nodded and asked, you want to watch her spar as well? He glanced at Hinata and said, I see. If you go that route, be careful. Hinata gave a nod. Naruto whispered in her ear as they went past one another. He went on and sat next to Hiashi, saying, don't hesitate because she's family. Treat her as an actual opponent. The two girls were 10 feet apart and facing each other. You will lose. Hinata did not answer. She simply stared back. Both of them adopted a position, though Hinata's was a little different. Her legs weren't as close together as they should be for Juken, and her arms were a little higher. The elders took note of this position and were furiously angry about the change. Naruto grinned and showed it. Then they both started with an unheard signal. The elders watched in astonishment and mild rage as they battled, but none of them displayed it. But Hiashi was genuinely impressed. She has truly made progress. However, Naruto scowled in response. Everyone took notice when she said, she's not taking this seriously. Hiashi's expression was one of obvious bewilderment as he looked at him. Naruto replied. She's not using the Serene Mind nor is she going for the more complicated maneuvers that I know she can do. He then noticed it. A tiny smirk replaced his frown as he said, it's not because of who she's fighting anymore. She's putting herself on her opponent's level. Equaling her opponent, she can outlast her. She's gotten smarter. Nor was Hinata using the Byakugan. She said calmly, Hanabi, I see you haven't gotten that much better. To think that I lowered myself to what seems to be your level is actually surprising. With how much I'm holding back to keep it at your level, I'm actually more surprised than I am shocked. The elders gazed at Naruto and his smirk as he nodded. It just goes to show. Teach them wrong, their skill dulls. Teach them right, they will shine. With what little I taught her, she's already glowing compared to the dull rust that she was before. He turned to Heishi. Compare her skills now to what they were during the academy. What do you think is the difference that I've made in a few weeks compared to the years you tried teaching her? His voice was flat, but Naruto could hear the shock in it as he said, I am actually surprised. Naruto looked in the spar's direction. Hanabi is good, barely genin level, but from what I can see, Hinata hasn't gotten to 30% of the skills she constantly shows me. I already know why, but she continually wants to impress me. With a suppressed glare, one of the elders asked, and what is that reason? Naruto acknowledged, from what I can tell, she's fallen for me. Hard, even though, as it stands, we can't be together, and I know this, she still ignores that. Knowing how she felt about him, Heishi nodded. Do you return her feelings? Heishi, that is. Heishi interrupted him, saying, my decision. Please answer the question. Naruto sighed after giving Heishi a quick glance. Yes, I do. Regardless of what everyone else thinks they know about me, I have known from the start about her feelings for me. I may know who my parents are, but unless they go public, Hinata and I cannot be together in the way we both want. I know it. She knows it. She doesn't care, but I don't want her to give up everything for me. It's just not right. What makes it worse is, I know she would if she had to. Heishi grinned slightly as he glanced at Naruto. Looking back at the spar, Hinata appeared disinterested. After this spar, I would like to speak with you without the elders or Hinata present. Naruto became aware of this, and raised their voice. Hinata, just finish it. She faltered a little as a result, which Hanabi took advantage of. After recognizing this, Hinata deflected her blow and struck her in 7 different places. She then approached Hanabi's body and gave her a gentle forehead push. Hanabi landed on her back after falling backwards. She turned to Naruto, who arched an eyebrow, and said, 8 trigrams. 5-point blocker is a success. Came up while you were gone. Tested it on Kiba. That had to make Naruto laugh. He went down to Hanabi and saw what Hinata was doing, saying, that's one of her originals. She hasn't used it on me, though, ouch. Naruto prodded Hanabi in 5 different locations as Heishi was ready to examine her for himself. The right temple, the center of the collarbone, the left temple, the navel, and the heart, in that order. Then Hanabi leapt to his feet. Heishi asked, how did you do that? I've seen these effects before, though only once. What's more is, my teammate Sakura uses something similar in effect, though highly different in application. She uses her eyes, and no, she doesn't have a dujutsu. Naruto turned to Hinata. Do you know what that move did? It shut down her 5 senses, that much I know. Hinata. What you did was force open 5 of the 8 celestial gates. The elders were greatly taken aback by this. The genin in my team can handle the influx of power, due to dealing with something much more unstable, but if you're not careful, you could effectively kill someone like that depending on which gates you open. The imbalance of chakra could effectively cause the target to implode. Highly effective on bandits, though. Doing so will not only scramble their chakra systems, but completely decimate their chakra control. That is a very dangerous move. Hinata's gaze expanded. Then how did Kiba survive it? Because he's been using somewhat chaotic chakra already. It's common in the Inuzuka clan, surprisingly, so it would only really dull their senses, and effectively paralyze them. Naruto made the point. His control would be shot, but not as much as it would be otherwise. People with multiple chakra sources in them, like an Aburame or a Jinchuriki, could get past that somehow. For a Jinchuriki, simply drawing on the second chakra would get rid of the effect immediately. A simple chakra pulse won't get rid of the effects, either. It's a powerful taijutsu move, which I don't know how it came into existence. It was before Luca's time. Hinata let out a sigh of relief. Good to know. Remember what I always tell you. Nothing is unbeatable. Even a goddess is not unkillable. There is a way around each block. A way to stop every move. A way to kill everything. That is something that Luca proved, time and again. Naruto stated to her. Find the weakness in your own moves, and learn how to counter the counters. It's why I spar with a dark side clone every now and then. They know how to counter every weak spot of every technique I know as of its creation. It's why it's so useful in taijutsu and kenjutsu training. You never taught me how to use it, though. Heishi nodded as Naruto stated, that's because it belonged to my mother. Uzumaki-san. A word? Naruto nodded after giving him a look. Hinata gave Naruto a look. Same spot and time? Naruto gave a headshake. Hinata nodded when she said, I intend to visit a few locations tomorrow. 2 days from now. Naruto's expression was one of shock, surprise, and a faint, WTF, as he gazed at Heishi. Why? Because he almost had his brain burned by what Heishi showed him. What was it? Still displaying his utter incredulity, Naruto said, "Let me get this straight. You and my father got drunk, wrote up a marriage contract between his oldest son and your oldest daughter?" "It was a marriage contract, my friends." Heishi gave a nod. "It was made so that, if one party wasn't willing, it would be nullified." Another wink. He nodded once more. "And our mothers agreed to it?" Naruto let out a sigh. He ran a hand through his hair and said, "This is by far one of the biggest curveballs Kami's thrown at me thus far. Seriously, this is number 2 on that list. It was surprising when it was agreed on by Hitomi, but your mother? From what I gather, I can't say I'd be surprised if my mother agreed to it. Badass she may be, she's certifiably insane," acknowledged Naruto. Heishi shot back, "And that we can agree on. There is no way around it. Kushina, no matter how powerful or badass as you put it, she was definitely insane. Not to mention the second best prankster I've ever seen." Naruto gave a nod. "I get you." A curious expression came over his face. "Who's the best?" "He's in this room." Naruto noted, "You don't strike me as a prankster. The pranks she wrote about top mine any day." Heishi said, "That's your opinion, not mine. My opinion of you? Know your pranks outshine hers due to reception. She never had people wishing they were hit by her. You do. Those who haven't, wish they were. Those who have, wish they hadn't." Heishi made the point. "It's why I say you're better, because you've made people want to be hit by your pranks because they haven't. You're the legendary prank demon in certain groups, and that title was earned." Naruto laughed. "I wonder if anyone realized what I was really doing with those pranks." "Stealth training." Naruto answered, "Stealth, speed, stamina, and tactics." Hiyoshi's eyebrow went up. "Something that annoys the targets being used as training?" Naruto smiled. "And a safe source for payback. If you notice, most of the stores and building I hit are those that wrong me. If they don't get hit. That's simple." Heishi gave a headshake. "Definitely Kushina's son. Now, about the contract. Show it to Hinata first. If she wishes to accept it, then I will. Being as it's signed by the Yondaime Hokage, the council and elders can't overturn it. Only the Hokage can, and he wouldn't even try to. He's got it in his head that he has to make up for all his past transgressions towards me. Any legal chance to bring me happiness, he's done," Naruto stated to him. Heishi gave a nod. "I understand. If she wishes it, it will be official. Before you let anyone else know about it, aside from the Hokage, I ask that you wait until I become a Chunin. It's when my heritage will be revealed. The village will definitely feel like fools when that happens." Heishi laughed. "And I plan on using the eyes on the Hokage monument to record the whole thing," replied Naruto. "And how do you plan to put the cameras there?" He was informed by Naruto, "Did it when I was 9. He put a finger to his lips and said, "Wasn't caught, either. But you didn't hear it from me." "Hear what?" Smirking, Heishi said. Naruto gave a nod. "Is that all, Heishi-sama?" "Yes, it is. I will also allow you to continue training her. You are doing a much better job than the clan is, and she will not be branded. It would violate the contract between the Namikaze and Hyuga clans." Finding a solution to one of Hinata's issues, Naruto grinned. "Thank you, sir. I shall take my leave." After rising, Naruto disappeared into the wind and left through the door. The following day Sasuke was the target of Ino's courtship attempt. He was growing irritated, but he didn't even speak to her. He was aware that Naruto had left before dawn. When Sakura arrived an hour later, Ino gave her a stern look. Forehead. Sakura noted, "In case you didn't notice, Sasuke is annoyed right now. As his teammate, I'm only going to say this once. Let him go, and get lost." She then laughed, "Unless you want to feel a real punch." Recalling what Sakura had done to her the previous time, Ino retreated and fled. "Quick!" Sakura caught Sasuke's attention. "Thanks." Following him, Sakura said, "No problem. Gnome is right. She is annoying. Was I really that bad?" "Yes, you were. Sorry. At least now I know better. Think Naruto's working on the sword?" According to Sasuke, not himself. He's not in the village, and Arubiti said he has clones in his home, which I can't get to. My guess is, he's using the clones to get it done while he's out of the village. "Gambling?" asked Sakura. "Most likely. I see. Does he really need more money?" "He doesn't spend it that much," she said. They were approaching a more remote part of the village when Sasuke said, No, but some is better than none, I guess. Especially since some shops overcharge him. He glanced at her, seeing that nobody was around, not even Junin and Anbu. I have a question. Alright, what's got your undies in a twist? She inquired. He shook his head and raised an eyebrow. Sakura understood the message even though he finished it more quickly than he had planned. I wanted to ask, would you go out me? She was obviously taken aback. He nodded and asked, did you just ask me out? Well, since we have the day off, why not? We could probably use it to unwind. Sasuke let out a sigh of relief. Thank you, Kami. He ignored the voice inside his head. You're welcome. That day was a little more enjoyable for them than previous ones. Kakashi observed a few times without interjecting. However, Naruto was in various towns throughout Fire Country at this time, bankrupting casinos before obtaining the deed to them and making some changes. Because the town he was in was almost entirely a gambling town, he had won half of it during the day. Restaurants and inns were the only establishments in town that weren't casinos. He was a born gambler, and evidence and video recordings refuted accusations of cheating. He never lost, unless he gave up on a hand, which surprised everyone. Additionally, he had a great poker face that attracted a lot of attention from the poker tables. After receiving a single A-rank payment, he made well over 9 billion ryu, of which 2 billion was used to renovate the casinos he had won. As he departed close to dusk, 5 billion was divided equally among all the casinos, with the remainder being held on him. A blonde woman apparently saw him take off. Why does Angel seem to be everywhere I go, but always takes off when I see them? The blonde pondered. I'm going to ask them if I see that angel again. Naruto landed at his house rather than the village because it was getting close to sunset. Over the years, not much had changed in his house. It was still a basic cottage, but he had added an addition that Salamander and Gnome had designed. The attachment was peculiar because it was composed of more metal fragments than actual rocks. It turned out to be a forge when he chose to enter the attachment from the outside. He glanced at Kabikari Bocho, who was being admired by the clones. So, it's done. The already materialized salamander nodded in agreement, saying, yeah, boss. It is. Should have worked. Yes, it's done. Sakura needs to add in her chakra for it to truly take effect, replied Salamander. Good to know, Sal. Anything new in the village? Not that I know of. Why? After shrugging, Naruto picked up the sword and used it. I'll take this to Sakura, and let her know. Any questions, Sal? She shook her head and returned to his thoughts, where she immediately ignited Sylph's hair. Sakura was chatting with Sasuke close to the memorial stone, and Naruto arrived there in just 10 minutes. Sakura. Sasuke. Sasuke inquired, where have you been? He removed the sword from his back and held it in front of Sakura, saying, it was a gambling town to the southwest. But that's not why I'm here. Channel your chakra into it. That's when it'll be complete. So, you managed this while you were gone. Shadow clones? She inquired. You bet. With a sigh, Sakura directed a significant amount of her chakra into the sword, which instantly began to glow. It remained the same size and shape when the glow subsided. But Sakura felt the burden lessen. As she glanced at Naruto, she said, it feels right. Thank you. She was waved away by Naruto. No problem, Sakura. We're teammates, right? Then Sasuke turned to face him. I should thank you as well. If not for what you said, today would never have happened. Then Naruto arched an eyebrow. I take it you asked, and she accepted, then? He grinned. That's good to know. I'm still reeling over what I heard yesterday in that department. They both raised an eyebrow at this. What are you talking about? Sasuke asked, it was when you were talking to the Hyuga clan, isn't it? After letting out a sigh, Naruto leaned against a nearby tree. Apparently my father was drunk when he signed a marriage contract for his eldest son, aka me. Sakura asked, with who? Both of their jaws dropped when Naruto responded, the eldest daughter of Heishi Hyuga. Didn't believe it myself until I saw the proof. Sakura said, this is good, right? I mean, you both are going to get together. True as that is, it won't go public until my heritage is announced, and for that to happen, I need to be a Chunin. When that happens, Heishi is coming clean to the Hyuga elders, and council. By then, it'll be known if Hinata agrees or not. If she doesn't agree, I'll let it go, but I don't think she would reject it. Sasuke said, she'd probably pass out. You do realize that she's been training with him recently. She's probably past that. Naruto gave a headshake. I'm with Sasuke here. The information damn near overloaded my mind. She may have gotten a lot better, but I wouldn't be surprised if she did faint from that. Sakura trailed off. Wait, if it overloaded your mind. They were both aware of it. When Hinata heard it, she would pass out. And just then, she was learning the truth. She actually fainted when she saw the proof. Additionally, she appeared to be smiling in a perverted manner. Additionally, she saw blood dripping from her nose. Sasuke gave Sakura a cheek kiss, but the rest of Team 7 nodded and left. Kakashi began Naruto on lightning exercises after he took an additional 2 weeks to demonstrate his mastery of Earth to his satisfaction. Sasuke also participated, but neither of them employed shadow clones. It took Naruto a month to figure out how the element behaved, and during that time they hadn't taken a C rank or higher. In actuality, a thunderstorm was the cause. After he figured it out, he completed the first exercise the following day. After doing so, he described the lightning element as he understood it. Despite being perplexed by the explanation, Kakashi was impressed. When it took a month to reach 20%, Sasuke used it to go from 20% to finish the first exercise in 2 days. After 10 days of the subsequent exercise, Sakura had attained shinobi mastery over fire and earth. Salamander and Gnome agreed with Naruto that she was skilled with them. With just 3 months to go before the Chunin exams, Sakura had completed her elemental training and a few ninjutsu. Then she displayed some decent kenjutsu. She was competent, easily reaching Chunin level in single combat spars. She also had much more advanced healing abilities at nearly Junin level. He assembled them in front of the memorial stone after he was certain that they were all standing at least at high Chunin. Alright, so you all have your elements mastered. What do you think we should go for next? Kakashi responded. It seems that they were so adept at training one another and themselves that all he had to do was point out the way, and they would quickly understand it. Sakura caught Naruto's attention. Sakura, how's your medical jutsu coming along? The doctors in the hospital are surprised at my progress. According to them, I've reached Junin level, and simply just have to apply for a Master Field Medic license. Once I get it, I'll be cleared for anything I'm missing, which includes the much more risky medical ninjutsu. Really, according to them, I have both the reserves and control for them. Just need the license. Sasuke gave a nod. And you, Angel Fox? Well, thanks to Kakashi Sensei, I've finally mastered the 5th primary element. The jutsu, I haven't mastered yet. My taijutsu is finally complete, and my kenjutsu is a lot higher than before. Naruto acknowledged. I still have no aptitude for using genjutsu, even with my control. Any genjutsu below a rank I can't even learn. Granted, Luka showed me a few kitsune techniques he learned as Kurama. Seriously, those kitsune illusions actually pack a punch. Can't break them. Serene Mind stops them, too. Still, you'll feel the pain of both real and the illusion. That is the strange point. The team as a whole nodded. Sasuke. After observing their nod, he went on. My taijutsu set is complete. Sharingan is fully matured at 3 each. Ninjutsu you both already know. Genjutsu, I'm pretty good with, regardless of my lack of interest. I've also been learning a bit in Fuinjutsu. I'm decent there. Maybe I can help. I've gotten lessons from Sal and Luka for years, and they both put me at the level of a journeyman for the Uzumaki clan. For most that would be just below master anywhere else. Everybody whistled. Impressive. Have you applied for a Fuinjutsu license yet? Naruto gave a headshake. Even while showing off my prowess, I can't apply until I'm a Chunin. I also have to show the novice, intermediate, initiate, adept and journeyman levels to show that I really am that good. They were extremely disappointed that I couldn't apply due to rank. Rank is the only thing holding me back, apparently. I have the skill, shown it to the right people, all I need is the rank to apply. If the same person is on duty that day, he'll just give it to me knowing I have the skill and experience necessary. They all shook their heads and gave him a look. Sakura acknowledged, if it were anyone else, I wouldn't have believed that. You just love defying logic, don't you? Naruto smiled and said, it's a gift. Kakashi received a nod when he said, so, you've got the training. All you need now is the experience. They all glanced at him before nodding. Shall we get a C rank tomorrow? They asked. I see. Then take the rest of the day off, and tomorrow meet at the mission hall. Dismissed. Spreading their wings, the group took off. Although Kakashi preferred to use Shunshin, Hinata joined them right away. Sasuke and Sakura took one route, while Naruto and Hinata took another. Oh, and Hinata and Naruto were now engaged. Sasuke was still trying to find the confidence to pop the question. Team 7 visited Team 8 at the mission hall the following day. Hokage. Sama? Ah, Excellent timing, Team 7. Team 8 is about to go on a C rank, and they believe it to be a good idea for a joint mission, Sarutobi said. His team nodded as he turned to face them. We're in. What's the mission? Apparently, some ruins were discovered to the northwest. An archaeologist wishes for escorts. He doesn't expect anything vicious, but he feels it can't hurt to be safe. Sasuke and Naruto took notice of this. Send him in. A man entered dressed in dusty tan. Naruto immediately noticed something when he saw him. Hey everyone, doesn't he resemble? Undine answered, yes, he does look like her. The man's head bowed a little. His eyes were bright green, and his hair was a deep crimson. Only Team 7 noticed that he was 5 feet 4 inches and had the physique of a martial artist, along with a few dragon traits like the scaled skin. My name is Simon Fateburn, Sakura said. I assume that you are all the escorts that I requested. He pointed to Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto and said, those 3 would do the best, from what I see, though. Ah, said Kakashi with a smile, I see you've recognized their hidden ability as I have. It's difficult not to. From what I can see, one of them even appears to be related to me. As she nodded in agreement, Sakura said, I came to the same conclusion. So, Hokage. Sama, is this the team? The man inquired. He heard Sarutobi say, they both are. Kakashi and Kurenai are both Junin. Additionally, Kakashi has the best team ever. You'll be alright. Thank you for your help. Alright, get your belongings. And Kakashi. Kurenai said, we depart in 2 hours. Kakashi shuddered as he recalled the last time he was late, saying, I know better than to be late when Naruto is involved. Let's just say that Naruto's pranking ability was never exaggerated and leave it at that. It was subtle, if anything. As their client raised an eyebrow at Naruto's angel halo on his waist, similar to Luka's, Sakura's Kabikari Bocho on her back, and Sasuke's devil's horn on his waist, Kurenai raised an eyebrow and said, I'm not even gonna ask. They left and met up at the North Gate 2 hours later. Kakashi simply shrugged when he saw Kurenai's inquisitive look. Naruto got Zabuza and won. After Sakura received the sword, Naruto altered it to suit this team's actual objective. Isn't Naruto the redhead? You know, Simon said, receiving a nod, my mother used to tell me about a sword that resembled it. What was its name? Halo of Angels. You know of the sword, I take it? Naruto nodded. It's difficult not to. It is among the few weapons that my family was afraid of. Simon shook his head. My mother was really paranoid, even though it was lost a long time ago. That's most likely a replica, though. With a shrug, Naruto said, it is what it is. After they had been out for about 5 hours, Sakura finally said, so, you have dragon blood? Yes, I do. Simon said, I was wondering when you were gonna ask about that. When it woke up, my father was terrified. The adage, let sleeping dragons lie, is more than just a catchphrase. In the past, my father was an A-rank shinobi. He has been a civilian ever since I awakened my blood. He hasn't been on any shinobi lists since, really. You also lost your mind, didn't you? Sakura inquired. Yes. I sometimes question how my mother was able to bring me back. It took 28 hits from the Heavenly Knight of Earth and a level 7 Earth kick which sent me into a cliffside to get me back to my senses. Sakura said sheepishly. You encountered Tamamo, Earth's Kitsune? Startled, he inquired. Yes. My group has. Not those 4, she said, gesturing to Team 8. I have, Hinata said, holding up her hand. You guys were in Wave Country, and she was in Fire Country. Happened to stumble upon her. You're lucky she didn't strike you. Simon replied. Rumor has it, she lost all faith in humanity and cut herself off. Raising a finger, Naruto said, she took my tofu. With 2 of us related to a friend of hers, she granted my team a short reprieve. He crossed his arms in a childlike manner. When did you start eating tofu? I asked Kiba, you're a ramen nut. Naruto calmly replied, doesn't mean I don't eat anything else, dog breath. In actuality, my second favorite dish is thin-fired tofu. I no longer obsess over how Arubiti got me involved, but I still don't know. Have you met Tamamo and Arubiti? Sasuke and Naruto both nodded. And you're both alive as well. I'm with some nice people. Team 7 shrugged, and Naruto went on. Granbarrier is the only member of the Heavenly Knights that I haven't met in person. Tamamo is the beloved psychotic aunt, Arubiti is like a mother, and Alma and I get along well. Lucky bastard. Complained Simon. So, I heard you were going to examine some ruins, Naruto said, turning to face him. Of what are they meant to be ruins? I heard that there was a clue that led to the former continent Helgondo. It was supposedly lost, and based on what was discovered, these ruins were said to have some connection to Helgondo. Although it was ambiguous, I must verify if it is accurate. Helgondo is where my heritage is. Team 7 acknowledged the sentiments with a nod. I see. You have some excellent assistants, though. All I can hope for is that we don't encounter a fallen angel, said Kakashi. Yes, I was aware of the chaos close to Hot Spring Country. The continent's monsters are aware of that. If this is actually Helgondo that we're going to see, then it might have something we could use to stop them, Simon said, adding that the Chimera's return was not encouraging. During the remainder of the trip, Sasuke merely kept an eye out for anything. Hinata and Sakura spoke to Simon, and Kiba talked to Naruto about the good old days. Just before sunset, Sakura halted, her eyes narrowing, followed immediately by Naruto and Sasuke, who also drew their swords. Kurenai was about to inquire as to what was going on when Kakashi interrupted, asking, "What do you sense?" Naruto took several sniffs. Dragon. Burning. Superior quality steel. He was alert and confused by the last one, but someone soon appeared on the road. This person was clearly female, with bright red hair, deep green eyes, and what appeared to be body armor. The tail and scaled skin were visible to everyone in the room. Simon was shocked as he looked at the creature. You're Granbarrier. Naruto muttered, "How come you're here, if I may ask?" "I came because I heard about you from Tamamo, Uzumaki," she said. "You want to put me to the test when I have little chance against Tamamo?" Naruto inquired, a little taken aback. Granbarrier drew a sword that the others had missed. It was 5 feet long and had a double-edged blade. It appeared normal, but Naruto knew that it was anything but. "I want to see for myself what you can do," he said. "I haven't accepted you as an Angel Halo user, but Tamamo might have. Neither Arubides nor Almas will be yours." "I got Arubides." Naruto assumed his stance and said, "She hasn't seen my progress either. I haven't seen Alma since I was 5. Granbarrier glanced at him and said, "I see. One-on-one. All I want to see is your abilities. You and you alone. No spirits." "Guys?" Naruto asked, peering into his head. "Without them, kid, I could never defeat her. However, I was not supported by Chakra or a Biju. I am as much a part of you as you are. As a Jinchuriki, you are. I am able to assist. I can. But Sylph and the others can't. Simply say the word." "The elemental spirits have agreed to stay out of it," Naruto said, nodding in his mind. "But if we're going to do this..." He revealed his actual form, startling everyone in the room except Granbarrier. "You are descended from both Angel and Yoko." Granbarrier said, "It's impressive, but it won't save you. You want me to be at my best, so I'll give it to you. It will help even the odds." Naruto's voice froze. "Stay out of this, everyone, this is my battle." Though a little conflicted, Sasuke nodded, and just as Hinata was about to advance, Kakashi stopped her with an outstretched arm, saying, "He needs this. It's a private issue." The two of them looked at each other. Naruto had discovered the energy flow in Granbarrier and had never seen it so easily with anyone else, though he assumed that was because he was listening to the area's energy flow rather than his opponent. The flow connected him to Granbarrier, and he was surprised when he didn't even feel the pull on his chakra when Granbarrier moved even a little. Granbarrier was the first to move, and he sent a horizontal slash at him from the left, which he bowed backwards to avoid, and it missed, but only just. He sent a kick up charged with a small amount of earth, and it struck her chin, sending her up a bit. Granbarrier was waiting and about to dodge, but when Naruto was 7 feet out, he disappeared from sight and even the flow, causing a late reaction and a small cut on her right arm. He then reappeared behind her, sending a horizontal slash at her as he turned around, which was barely blocked due to her shock, which was caused by him escaping the flow. At that point, Naruto had one hand on the ground and used it to push up before swinging his sword at the dragon. The blow was parried, and they both retreated a little. Granbarrier's eyes narrowed as their blades were locked at the hilt, and they both backed up slightly before entering. "How did you escape the flow?" she asked. Before the lock broke and they both retreated, stopping roughly 20 feet apart, Naruto retorted, "Lightning sword flash is my best move, though not my strongest, I'll admit." "To what extent are you aware of Luca's abilities?" "Most of them are mastered, some more than he was at them at his death," replied Naruto. "Then I think we should end this with our most powerful sword techniques." "Now?" Naruto inquired. "Yes." Granbarrier prepared the vaporizing rebellion sword, and I would like to know which of his you believe to be the strongest. The sword in his hands glowed a bright white along the blade as Naruto acknowledged this and held Angel Halo upright in front of him with both hands on the grip. So you know, I've only used this 3 times before, and the first time, I didn't even know if it would work the way I was planning it. Naruto. Are you insane? Kakashi yelled. Kakashi? I'll complete this in a single motion if that's what you want. Granberry unleashed her preferred move as Naruto lowered the sword. Rebellion sword vaporized. Since Naruto released his at the same moment, a burst of fire charged him in erratic patterns. Quadruple Giga. As soon as Granberry released her chaotic flames, Angel Halo hit the ground, and Naruto shouted the name, which caused Granberry even more surprise. The Quadruple Giga completely overpowered the chaos of Granberry's technique, causing Naruto to stare at her bloodied and burnt form, panting. At most. On a full tank, I can use it twice before I faint. To handle the Quadruple Giga on his own, and even get rid of the charging time is impressive. But for this? Never thought it was possible, but he did it. He's got Luca standing behind him. Looks like that's a literal statement. Granberry saw an astral projection of Luca floating behind Naruto as he stood there, poised to strike. You've got my permission, she said, rising to her feet. With a sigh of relief, Naruto collapsed back onto his ass. Never thought that it would be enough, he said. Just one query. How did you shorten the time it took to charge? Granberry inquired with interest in her tone. It's easy in theory. Hinata helped Naruto up after realizing it was finished. The difficult part is obtaining the necessary elemental manipulation. In order to use the elements with maximum ease using chakra alone, you must possess shinobi mastery over the elements of wind, water, earth, and fire. The hardest part, which is also the first point, is getting them all to the necessary level. In response, the dragon said, I see, go on. Combining them into a single weapon is the second point. You see, before chakra metal requires a full repair, it can only withstand 1 quadruple giga. It will break upon contact if you attempt to block a single kunai with it after using it. You'd need something like Angel Halo, Devil's Horn, or the modified Kabikari Bocho because chakra metal can't handle it. As you can see, Sakura has Kabikari Bocho, Sasuke has Devil's Horn, and I have Angel Halo. While learning all 4 of the necessary elements is more difficult, channeling all 4 is actually rather challenging. The white glow can be achieved by channeling all 4 elements simultaneously or quickly one after the other. You just need to swing it down and let go of everything from the sword's tip. Hold the onions, quadruple giga. Granberry simply gazed at him. All right, you only needed to do that? That's it. Can't believe no one ever thought about it. What no one else could figure out was discovered by a Jinchuriki, who is also an Uzumaki. And I used it for the first time right after I had the idea, not 10 seconds before. I'm glad it worked, even though I wasn't sure at the time, Naruto smiled. Wait, so I can find out? Kiba asked. Naruto informed him, theoretically, yeah. Hell, anybody can. However, you might as well forget about it if you don't have a sentient sword or a weapon composed of specific materials. In addition, Sasuke is the only person I would actively teach this to. It's somewhat of an old-fashioned family technique. So why instruct the Teme? Watch what you say about my cousin, Inuzuka, Naruto said, giving him a fierce look. You might come to regret it. Naruto. Kakashi interrupted Kurenai. I have some history about the quadruple giga. Only 2 people had ever used it before Naruto, and they are both dead. They have existed since before the start of the age of shinobi. The last person to use it is the ancestor of both Naruto and Sasuke. The majority of the villagers are completely unaware of this kind of family technique. Team 8 Kurenai was also taken aback, though Shino hardly expressed it. Hinata had been informed of their relationship, which was more like that of cousins than it should have been, and Shino had questioned it after observing Hinata's silence. It's really that easy. I was already aware, and you kept it from us? Kiba inquired, genuinely taken aback. She gave him a small smile and said, You never asked. Kiba simply palmed his face in response. You know, when I explained something to Anbu, I said the same thing. The same is true with Hokage. Gigi. Naruto then raised his hand and said, Before you comment, don't say anything on that. He is like a grandfather to me, and formality is not my style. Hinata simply shrugged, and Kurenai's mouth closed. Shino said in a monotone, I fail to see the logic in that Naruto-san. Logic goes out of the window when Naruto is involved, Sakura said, as Team 7 simply shook their heads. You eventually get used to it. Sasuke went on, if you don't, you'll go insane. Kakashi said, if it's impossible, count on Naruto to make it possible. Naruto got back up and stopped panting, saying, Look at it this way, Shino. Logic gets inverted on 17 different planes when I get involved. Unless they're already insane. I think it would drive anyone who isn't an Nara insane. They wouldn't be concerned about it in that scenario. Should we go on? Kakashi noted, you're still recovering from your chakra usage. It's true that I'm a good travel companion. I simply won't be able to go back for some time. How long before we arrive at the ruins? Why not? Simon answered, should be another day. I'll be perfectly fine by the time we get there. I am only at 52% of my chakra, really. I'll be alright, Naruto clarified. Very well, said Kakashi, eyeing him but nodding. We continue to move. I'll accompany you. Granberria walked beside Naruto and said, I'm probably going the same way, anyway. Seriously, I need to see more of you personally. Sasuke saw the black book in Naruto's hands as they were walking. Turning it off. Plus, something else to get done later on, but that can wait. Naruto just nodded before writing something else in. Besides, it has nothing to do with everything you'd see here, he said, closing it and making it disappear on his chest. You wouldn't need to worry about anything. What would it be, then? He and Hinata both noticed the smirk. You'll have to wait and find out, he said. Furthermore, Hinata is the only person who truly needs to be aware of this. Not you. Whether you're a cousin or not, it's more for her than for you, and I doubt she would want me to tell anyone else before I told her. All right. However, you are aware that I will eventually figure it out, right? As it stands, this one doesn't concern you yet, so don't worry about it. Replied Naruto. When you get involved, I'll let you know. With a shrug, Sasuke said, fair enough.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.